All right, good evening and welcome to With All Due Respect Extended Version. My name is Kevin Akobedu Taylor. It's exactly 5:14 p.m. U.S. East Coast. It's definitely 9:14 in Ghana. Thank you very much for tuning in. We're streaming live from our studios here in Washington, D.C. We really want to apologize for the late start of tonight's show. We really apologize. It was due to some technical error. Our technicians were seriously working on it. We're back on air. We're going to make sure that tonight we deal with the issues. We don't have enough time, but we will do our best to take care of issues. As you can see, the topic is simple. The murdered judges, were they angels? These are questions that we are asking, and we know that we are going to get answers. Mr. S, Mr. P, team. Stay with me. I know. Okay. All right. So, BB because nyome koso Ghana na menti ye. DNA koso amenti ye, but we'll go straight and take care of business because end the show no. Ye delay ye pa. BB koso na enti ya edruha ye bedi hun komo. I would like to say thank you very much for tuning in. We are live on TV, we are live on radio, we are live on Facebook, and also we are live on YouTube tonight. Over to my show, we live on Loud Silence TV on YouTube tonight. Loud Silence TV on YouTube. We are also live on Loud Silence TV on radio. We are also live on With Audio Respect page on Facebook, and also on YouTube. We are live. So all platforms are blazing tonight. Thank you very much. Yamfa Jumadi and so time new sir. Nesiano, Sesiano, it was in you call in Sesiano if ye adjo Emma Bibia. Yabi Taylor, Yabapon, Yabe Jumanina, Mamusro, your baby Bia. Your baby Bia, we will be answering. We will take care of business. We will handle everything. We will break the news to you. Yabe Jum, Yabemo Biati, I say in Chichimunoso, Ubia Betin Chichimuna, say, Intimamo Yamusha show, Sanet here, and the Jandam de Oho, Yabe Breaky Jandam, Yabeku Jandam, no, Intiabano. From Uniana, Unias and Freddie, Niasa, Kevin Taylor, and the Ghost team are live. Inti, aha, Anna, Sibio, no Creno, Ewo. Okay. Team, I'm blind. I am not seeing. I need my messages, team. I am blind. Okay, I'm getting my messages now. Thank you very much. So I can see TV Papa watching me tonight. Podo Isaac is also live on YouTube tonight. I can see Benedicta Vibong watching Kevin Taylor and the Ghost team this evening. Money is live here on YouTube. On Facebook, Eric Nana Kwame Boahin is live on Facebook tonight. Crew Shatta is watching me tonight. Thank you very much, Crew, for being here tonight. Joe Lolo is live on Los Alens TV. Faustina Portia is also watching me. Kobna Mensa is live. Moose Alawier is watching me tonight. J Panthers live on YouTube. On YouTube, Merciful Salvation watching Kevin Taylor and the Ghost team. Thank you very much, family, for having us back. We are here tonight to speak to the issues. I can see Kelvin. It's not Kevin. Kelvin watching me tonight on YouTube. Amina Jibril is watching me. Thank you very much. Thank you to every single person. I know you are all coming in here to hear the truth, to hear the facts. We'll go straight and take our business. Team, if we are good to go, let me go. Give me the green light if we are good to go. And then I see I'm into ya nipa biki kansam Sibiu yajeje ehwa do weekend ye ne yere ne yemma ejeje ehwa ewofia Sibiu ye relax ya nsam koso Ghana e de ne course weekend ya yanti ya nipa biki kansam konkonsani wodi ya ye de behjem. Now anse ebeto aba e de ama eye nkofo we di anke ebeto aba makako ye beto aba ma san nkofo we ke ebeto aba makako anke de aba ne be makako nanka eye tilapia be die so enti be bia be hu nkofo we bia ka chom se ebeto aba ma mo de anke ebeto aba e de ama eye tilapia. Loud Silence, we are live. Kevin Taylor is live. Ghana State of the Nation is live. Obia Eshemi from Ahemfo. Good evening to Otufo Osetutu Nana Pia Omedo and also Domi Ohini ya Obayi Matise Ohineno Sibiu Oko Yenyina ya Danase ene ensra obesraye. Now questions na me busa the last time mammi yurefi. Momi mbusa the Ghana Airport Company the 2024 board chair Paul Ademochene MPP for the say Ohinena Bako. It does not matter the noise people are making. The law is the law. We want to know why in the bar Santimumbe Kachire say Kumasi International Airport no plane bia if we asa fanenya betuma lande. That is the question we are asking. Otufo said to Nana Medo Piao Asantimai bedo Asantimai Sebio we Jimmy Amentel ho inti Sebio Ghana nia wadwini yedwuma wadwini kofie no mintumi ne windi nkomo. Omo amini mo di nkomo ne nkofo a omo ajatum say Sebio omo betie no kre no na omo bedwudwa no kre nim akire. Question still stands. We want to know. Then MPP Bekachira Santimai say, Omaye Kumasi International Airport. International Airport. Plane be a fee a riasa man in Yabet then on Hini free Swaziland say Swatini ba ya went to me and for the plane number Kumasi. That is the question we need to be asking. Diakenya in Bogu. Diakenya concert. We don't care about the noise. We ask relevant questions. We wait. We demand reasonable answers. That is what we do here. We make sure say the here any di komo any questions are for so also any busa. It me busa santimai Ashanti youth and I say Ashanti youth any mini anoma santifo me busa eye otufo say to say MPP kachre eye Asantimai say the Kumasi airport no eye international airport whether otufo so whether ohinibi so the question is the NPP government MPP na efra Asantefo say omo de atwa omo fruma Asantefo say party ni ye chiche no Asantemem no me busa MPP for I was say MPP for release statement the Asantemai say airport no beka say international airport no aden na international planes into me land ho. That is the question. So obejimi hu so obetietimo and a problem. We are asking the relevant question. Into Asantefo omo Asantemem a omo adwene ye adwuma sebio omo a omo didi a omo no nkwan a sebio omo da omo so daipa omo da sunie so no omo na meni omo kasa se sebio se aban bi baaye ena omo tam otufo ko si Kumasi airport ena omo ka che otufo se Kumasi airport no international airport sa aban na MPP aban no we want that party to come out and tell us Santimai say airport no adentina etwatini hine ne baaye no went to me amfa plane number Kumasi. Simple as that. I don't care your title. I don't care who you are. I don't care how you see the question. I don't care how you feel. Your feelings, they are our problem. How you feel about my questions are your problem. You can swallow it. It is your problem. But my question is directed at a MPP and Asante-4. And I keep telling me, Asante-4 say, me say, MPP Bekachere say, Kumasi International Airport, the Prempeh International Airport, no, British Airways between Virgin Airlines between Delta, United Airlines. Paul Adomo trying a nice kokoshe die. Omo di otu for say to two MPP for omo di otu for be see airport wo di ne ho agro sa akwara. Omo de man pon hene na dem refa due. Omo de man pon hene be si akonnwom e di ne ho agro se akwara. Ahemfo akese ne nketewa se bi omo se omo te kokoso omo ya akese te se otu for omo nyina betena abedwam. Ema MPP for ka kire omo say Omadani Airport to international airport. Now Ethiopian airline landed December 2024. From that time, plane be a fair bridge be a subia to me esi ewo edien Kumasi International Airport. On hini be abesro 24. I don't care on hini ne said also so soon. I don't care. On hini banner or the international plane nearby. I didn't a plane no end to me NC wo Kumasi Airport. That is my question. It is a one question we ask anyway Jimmy. So yeah, Santinis no person betia de we ask no problem. Question no, I am asking O24, I am asking Asante-4, and I'm asking MPP as a political party say, I didn't a plane into Mensi. If you say MPP catch O24 say, sa airport no from day now omu chin O24 say dreche. Omu chin say papra and then you see Kumasi Airport no Saturday no do 2 focus Kumasi Airport no omo catch them say plane be a international plane be a besi e Kumasi no besi Ghana or say be Kumasi adentina sa plane number. That is the highest disrespect to a 2-4. Intimate na ha e o 2-4 na mebo no ho ban e Asante-4 na mebo mo ban se party bi bada mo se ni pe bi ebebu manimtia se ni pe bi bebu mu se sebio Asante-4 ni bi mu agimi a mo be ka asema to mutirim ada mo age eye vote no eni tina me ba na ma be kai mo atro bi a MPP twa mo intimi busa Asante-4 mo mfre MPP 4 mo kan jam so mo nya press conference mo amoye Ashanti youth whatever or however you want to call yourself. Me pese mubusa MPP for ne say adenti na ohene ni plane no NC Kumasi Airport. Se Kumasi Airport no a international airport. Yes, ye bedi obi hu agro. Ye dwedwam. Thank you very much, girls. So we are doing serious job here. It is not about how you feel. It is not about your tribal sentiment. It is not about where you think you belong. It's about the relevant questions. And when relevant questions come, it does not matter who you are. You need to answer. And the question I'm asking the MPP into China, any week is me, any affair day me, Asante-4, Asante hene, mensia, a release statement. Embusa MPP a bina na ekufuada ne baumia Kennedy Japan mudi enim ne say. Den on beka chiro mo say, Kumasi Airport, Oma Dani Dino, an international name, Prempeh de DN international airport. Adenti no hene no buy no, ni plane name to mensi o Kumasi. Eno ne asama ye kan wasem, e kire we Jimmy na wonte ase. Enti question when I'm person we are no. And no na me person we the akade mogu Jimmy and no de enya how you feel your tribal sentiment how no we are Santinia question also busa MPP 4 we are Santinina or TikTok abusa MPP 4 question we are Ghana nina or TikTok abusa MPP 4 question we are Ghana nina or Facebook or social media we are regular listener of a show fresh show neka say metia santimemu adentina MPP abedi O24 ho agro adentina MPP abetwa O24 ntro adentina MPP abetwa Asante ntro omo meka nkyere adentina ohene ni play nentumensi wo Kumasi a simple question akire we Jimmy and I'll be a problem with this question akire wunim nyansa akire bia okotiswa akire bia Ghana enkomo na ye di no wonte ase a simple question adentina play no embassy Kumasi. Se plane na mbesi Kumasi ana se plane no Kumasi Airport na MPP for beka kira Asante-4 any titru O24 no na enya international airport na ya atro eno na ma me justification no any basis no to tell you say MPP as a political party omu hu Asante-4 say mumu bi mu agimi. I'm not going to change from this statement. I'm sticking to the statement. I'm going to stick to this statement. I'm going to make sure I get answers before I move forward. Inti enya dia miko baby MPP mu Asante-4 MPP bu otumfo MPP sa pathway omo hu asantifo bi so omo jimi sebio omo bu otumfo krampo every so omo ba no be ka asema to no so keke no mko otumfo said to be share release statement ya pese Asanteman Council release statement ya pese Ashanti Youth a release statement ya pese Ashanti Youth a release statement ene eye Kumasi Asante Kotoko Football Club also a release statement. If it's a Kumasi Asante Kotoko Kobo Amananoa, Amanonia, Amo Besan Komufu play free Kumasi on the call in Germany. Say Germany team no so bad, I will say Besu Kumasi. Say Sanyama way to men Sidia, na MPP no some tia say, a ye Asante for some tia say MPP Bumukwasia. Me can be no me trust no ma come ni watch na mesa kaimo. O 2-4 said to Nana Pia Medo. Someone to me Musa MPP for say identity on hinni play na land do Kumasi. Sa Asante for more MPP mu are more Ashanti region. Someone to man justify the reason why they are playing now. Moka say Kumasi Airport, other international airport, or hinni play to me and land do Kumasi no. Someone to man justify amo mo who reason ya. Na some more MPP for mubu Asante for the bisomu yankwasia for. I will be back. It's a simple question that demands reasonable answer. As simple as that, team. All right, thank you very much, Mr. S. I really okay. Thank you. I have this. Now, it's mess up as so conversation we enye because mentina ho Emma MPP for we embua sante for so me yankwasia for mentiase. I will not agree to that. Now, also tiase abrante we oyewi your friend Williams and Efi Sapon. Uhuno baby a sirihu. Uhuna obetima police action or cromfo your friend Williams and Efi Sapon. Ne papa so your cromfo. Ne papa no so ono so eka ho and abrante we obu nkofo fraud internet fraud. On ne papa edomudi sa adwuma no your friend Williams and Efi Sapon. Ne maame ensu ne maame we so your cromfo tetwa amabo atema ono so oka ho and abrante we ebu nkofo Ghana. Ono so uhuna sirihu or your cromfo. Abrante we one kote ketwa Tupac, Nana Tupac, Nana Shako, Omumi Nubeko Jill, Nana Shako, the Bema 0.02 inches. Otieti Bukra, imagine, Oyo Bana Ocean Nana Shakwa. Imagine him, imagine his boxer shorts. Never when you call the boxer shorts, who says Sako in the qua. So, Okasabi Brana, the name who swum I saw Doma. Nana Tupac, Nana Shako, Otieti no, na Domane was so 0.02 inches. Na Domani king into your banner ocean and a Tupac. And Nana Shako, no Tietima. Or they just close your eyes and imagine inside his boxer shorts. Almost a tube king. All right, I'm going to jail. All right, let's take off good business. They're here and a baby. Now, this issue with a year. AI generated fake news. The government of Ghana today and the Omo release statements. Nipebi a video bi nomde the president nim atoso and nomde da danko for say president no any nipa etitru bi promote some particular companies and businesses be any some organizations atro Ghana government, the cyber security units are attached to the government of Ghana. No, Omo release statement. They say AI generated deep fake promoting fake investment and drugs. Omo a video be MPP for the shade. Omo use idea friend artificial intelligence and they obetum the cartoons ama cartoon adane te se nipa onhwa obetum aka say unhu cartoon abegin say John Mahama obetum hu cartoon because we dey Kevin Taylor na ekasa na enya no kre aban no e de sebio some abeto abontene say video be quite around that almost say John Mahama promote their businesses be any drugs be ni nyina atro so who be sa e TikTok who be sa e Facebook the government say a planner MPP4 and a diabeto and internet so on person om the good John Mahama ni mase on person the good abine ni mase ni nyina a MPP4 ne shechiri inti sebio uhu sa anyoma na ayahwe ni ye John Mahama entina bebia em promote drugs bia on promote company bia or president of the Republic of Ghana on promote companies on promote drugs John Mahama juma de say obechechire Ghana na obo Ghana ho bra inti so ko hu information bia wa bontene say John Mahama eti social media eti TV so eti WhatsApp na so obi bochire say John Mahama nie o promote drugs o promote company bia atro sa videos no bebre circulate o Ghana ha monya very careful MPP for the shechire gabi ochida akuni ni group omo na omo hye sa de ne chi a omo pese omo de gu John Mahama ni mase inti ende Ghana ban no de sebio statement about Bontine say, a year the Cybersecurity Authority has observed a disturbing rise in circulation of deep fake or artificial intelligence generated videos featuring publicly exposed persons like myself, Kevin Taylor, including the president, ministers of state, members of parliament, government appointees, media houses, and media personalities. The video falsely portrays these individuals or institutions endorsing fake investment schemes, fraudulent financial platforms, or unapproved medical products and cures, including diabetic and weight loss drugs. Inti omudi bebre ababontene, omudi ministers bi edina atoto so eni omunim, ebi wo ha omu ye nipa titiri ti se me Kevin Taylor, omutumi de obi wo or minister, obi wo or sofo, obi wo ha obo se or obi ti se president no, omutumi de MP sekura di enim ye, ni nyina eye nipa kuo bi omu hye eye internet echi a omu de bokro no. Inti sebio sa anyoma no hu a sebio busam minister bi ani wakotena TV so ana social media say or tonwedro ana say or promote company. MP bi ani wakotena TV so say or tonwedro ana or promote company. And president on tena TV so and tonwedro and promote company. In the sign your money enipa bonifo bi a omo hyehyehye internet echi a omo pese omo say nipa bi. Inti se uhu sign your money bi a menjindi. Se sebio ope inchiremu a busa omo a omo awidrem ewo eye abefo ene computer ene eye de internet mu na omo nchiremu chiro nipa bonefo no adoso ena sebio omo yes ade me nyonkofo bi se o Kevin bo video na nkofo hu mimbo video no, we don't want to promote eye de fake news. That is why I'm not playing the video. Your video videos bebre system nim Ibi okra John Mahama videos. We are not going to play it because we don't want to promote such videos on our platform. Yeah, catch a Ghana for say, uhu bibia, John Mahama, minister be a promote a drew. Catch say, oh, John Mahama say unya diabetes, a konume drew, omoboa. John Mahama say, unya yare we a cancer, we a konume drew, omoboa, and John Mahama, a computer, no mushe chain, omode dada nipa, omudi kunipa, inti uhu sanyo mana, botra. Mentie de bonia nipa bi ehye kuntuna se a onpeso omde gu nipa titiru bi etise me menimase John Mahama, ministers, MPs, asofo akese etise Duncan Williams de asofo omde no kure ni bi enimase inti wu sa anyoma na nyabotre na tie ansa na wo de akire obi mendi akire because AI artificial intelligence abrofo na de aba na nipa bi afa edidi bone menje sa anyoma ni ndi we any krata the ministry no de aba bontene se yen kirechirem na Ghana fo nyina ehu no kure so we public announcement sa statement we every the cyber security authority omo and a release statement we into obia enhye so. Thank you very much. So we say obi so ekuta sa anyoma obi on phone so na or share obetumi report na ma police. So we say TV bi boss sa anyoma no ewo mu TV so obetumi report sa TV no ama police. So we say nipa bi de nam krom de akosi baby de kire nkofo say oh hwe John Mahama ka say kire say duro we ye minister we aka say sa nipa no ye say Ghana mbra kire say obetumi report omo e ma ya chi omo de all send about phone so no obetumi aka kire say asemesi obetima kasa asimesi ade a wo de abre mi de atro bebre a esia MPP fo ade on person ye ne say omo person de sa AI no no mo edit no mo de me voice to some kasa Kevin Taylor didi otumfo atem omo ya intinanse mo behu bebre omo de bebre beba abontene no maka say mo hwe Kevin Taylor o TV so odidi otumfo atem omo de eye computer na beye omo beka nyoma bebre atom so omo nim se me na meka no kra ne kira sante into hu sa nyoma na be very careful. Something in the pipeline omo ye miminim omo ye ready to throw it in the system. Omo ka say video bi aba Kevin Taylor di otumfo atem Kevin Taylor di otumfo atem Kevin Taylor di otumfo internet abefo computer na omo de ye. So person will take Kevin Taylor. So what study me? I don't grant interviews. So we a media house now frame me. I make sure say if you want to know my opinion on something, watch my show. And it's hard for you to go see Kevin Taylor granting interviews and also Obi interview me. I don't do that. It's part of my production. And so it is only on my production. It is only on my platform. And you have to take your time and watch. I know all these things. And I want to say, make us baby. I want to say, Obi my Kevin Taylor, my interview. I don't grant interviews because I don't want anybody to take my voice, take my video, and go and misquote me. Inti omo bebre omo the videos bebre baba bontene from next week. Obo say video bi baba. Yes, Kevin Taylor did otu for atahwe. Kevin Taylor na e kan no omo boa. Omo de bi John Mahama. Omo de bi MPs. Inti moma moni nda ho. MPP for ni message. MPP for Jimmy. MPP as a political party meguno. Omo dwame change on Mahama. MPP as a party, omo time change on Mahama. Because omo ni mejuma maye, ejuma production team aye, ejuma inkoto, ejuma free mind, ejuma Ransford Cable achimo ye, ejuma nipa titiri omo kanokre Ghana eye. Inti omo nim, omo be cancer masha ya no. Sebio Ghana hane etino, Ghana ni penny ye. Inti mamon fall to those things. MPP for strategy enye juma. Sa opesa o tie Kevin Taylor. Sa opesa o tie Kevin Taylor noa. E also share Kevin Taylor show. Me, I am not hungry for fame. I will never walk on somebody's radio station and say, interview me. No, because my platform is bigger than yours. So who say, Adabe was a radio station, Kasa Ohono. Na sa ni pana otisho nusuno, me we ni credibility. And sana makasa also, but you will never see me speak on any show. Since I will buy internet, so I to say, Obi interview me. And I say, me to Obi show, so, and I Obi te production bima, makotini mukasa. I don't do that. If you want to know my mind, Opeso whom unya my opinion on a particular topic, come and watch my show. Aha, and a content no, aha, and a originality no. So that is what I hold on to. Me a very strategic. Ejuma we mayache a minim sibia MPP 40 omi akron 4 omon kano kre de bi omka samton kofo so I always protect what I say. Inti de bia no mu se nipa boni for system nim Kevin Taylor, omudi menim beba to TV so ombe AI machines figures omudi manim beba omega se bidio 2 for atem next week ombe start aye mamu jindi atro meja santiman meji sika kokko sebio meso me ye nipa bia medo asantima da 2 for mabana na maba minyanko bebia medwudwam ama Ghana for ehunu kre no. Thank you very much team. It's exactly 9:37 in Ghana. Over USA it's 5:37 p.m. East Coast Washington DC. Ghana CNN and our channel. Now, another announcement, and the Ghana ban also mama misko, because the kind of announcement I mean, millions of people they get to know. No, me I sure say GBC cry announcement and go for tisa. The Ghana government needs to sign a contract with me. Also good GBC normally GBC for sika mami, because GBC for go concert nkwa GBC boss you from for kind of cre. They say also good GBC no. Normally GBC for sick and mammy, because when the government puts a statement out, apart from any platform, no, baby and no, and internet they make a say, I hire Ghana CNN. So one show ha unya baby obeshe, and a unya baby no crenwo, a hankwana no crenwo, Ghana CNN answer edit another information eba. Ghana Education Service also edit statement bi abeto abontin say omoma ye maamenom ye nuanom Ghana for ensha no so say nipa bonifo bi edit atrosem bi enenam Ghana mfrebem say Ghana Education Service fa nipa sebio last week ombeka say aban no we ni that so omefa nipa be 50,000 before the end of the year. Sa nipa aban so ombefo emoma ko kirachirade ebi mu so nkirade no aban no enya mfa nipa no nanso nipa bonifo bi astarte ekeka nsem bi ede nkrata bi kire nipa say aban amomo kwan say omfa nipa omoboa and the Ghana Education Service for ede krata ababontene omo kirem akire Ghana fo nyina say omo emfa obia eye teacher adwuma. Se mreni dura Ghana Education Service nanka se beba TV so omo de befa eye appropriate platform so to say Ghana CNN, Loud Silence TV, and GBC, and TV3, and Loud Silence TV, and I say Wezo, and I say TV edimu baby to say XYZ TV, and Power FM platform to say Radio Gold. Credible platforms will be and abine this information so far they abine information beyond by say or funny part. Now omano asebni mamen kind na minjum Emma PZ for ntiasie send beya Ghana for ebehu no krena ekono. Na the Ghana Education Service for the atobontin letter no the date so 28th of June 2025 afi we ya busumi we ya and omochro sakrata we. Reference number near GES HQPR 25093. And then Kratano a year Ashensodia Edaswa, a Chese Ghana Education Service for and a Chro Kratawi. Now, kind Kratan Ankasa in summer a woman near Maminju Jum Nayanquim. Team, are we good? All right, Maminju Jum. Thank you. Now, the attention of the management of Ghana Education Service has been drawn to various fake recruitment advertisements circulated on social media and fake appointment letters purporting to offer appointment or recruitment opportunities to prospective applicants into the service. Say Ghana Education Service omo behu say nyoma bi ekoso a sebio entwaye nipa bonifo bi enenam Ghana ena omo printing krata de man kofo say oh yafo adwuma say we teacher ni ena omo say e ka kire nkofo e social media TikTok Facebook YouTube say oh sebio ye fa nipa na amanfo kra letter ba ena nipa bi wo kra mpo a ya mo appointment so omo ko kira de e Ghana Education Service a Ghana adesua nyina hye omo ase no omo say asem we e yatro. Now, say the Ghana Education Service wishes to state emphatically as follows. Say, pese ma insembi ededi sebio krojia obi entumi entotonase. Insem no ene toasui. De insemfuansia ena aba beto se. Sa insemfuansia no mugina so aka kire Ghana fo nyina se. Ghana Education Service. Fa teacher ni bi adwuma. Fa krata bia ma teacher ni bia se ya fa na adwuma. Inti sa wote se obi abegina TV so Facebook kasi faticha fo adwuma yatro. Now in some fuansia omugina so de ka asem we enie de toso baako ana de edinkan say the Honorable Minister of Education announced in Parliament that the Ghana Education Service would be recruiting about 50,000 teachers and 10,000 non-teachers teaching staff. This is a fact and true. However, management wishes to inform the general public that this recruitment process is yet to commence. Say the edinkan last week, a Minister of Education, Haruna Idrisu, era Parliament, kachire Ghana fo nyina se, aban no eba befa, nipa omoye achechire for impim eduonum, 50,000. Eduonum 50,000. Now almost omoye teacher for omo nchira de classroom so nipa be impim du be 10,000. Almost say asamna Haruna Idrisu, Minister of Education, kan of Parliament no no kuretrodo ene de ampa. Ade a aban no epese omoye. Omo nsemfua de toso mienu enie. CNN na edwudwom no menko bebia. Second point, when this official recruitment exercise commenced, it will be communicated to the general public through official GES channels, including our website, as well as national newspapers and all credible media outlets. Almost say some way a minister ne kind of parliament no say aban no any Ghana Education Service for you ready. So omo befa achechire for ene omo chira de omo so ya achechire for omo chira de classroom a omo nyina anopem 60,000 na. Ghana Education Service say omo ye ready so omo befa nipa. Omo ankasa omo official website. Ho ena omo de ede in some ebekwa akoto sebio omo so edebeko credible TV stations, any radio stations to say GBC, to say Loud Silence TV, Ghana CNN, to say TV3, to say Wazer TV, to say XYZ, Radio Gold. Almost say platform say no, and almost the sign something in Abefaho, ama Ghana for emra, omo nipa. Nenimeni idea. Ghana Education Services say, so what is your nipa in minimea edge recruitment letter, a tro mema obia engine to. And some no a port the tosumi and sano enie. The third point, say all GES recruitments are completely free. Say and the Ghana Education Service a share a year Haruna Idrisu as the minister say your imagine say befa a teacher for baby and was here jiska Ghana Education Service so for teacher for juma jiska in this oko baby na ka se betua one peswa na fa ji krata the recruitment letter ana bibia nipa no report no ma police so ya wo for and now we are for now baby area training college now and I said we school now be catch you say you confirm teacher juma yes me meji 2,000 Ghana me meji 10,000 Ghana oboa nipa bi no ne o ma hwehwe ho akogi sika akodi Ghana aban any Ghana Education Services say ye nyamfa nipa na so mo bie pono kra ana so mo bie kwan mu say ye fa nipa ye ngi obia kapre ye bebusa se fa won krata bra na ye ngi obia sempoa anateku intimo man fa nto ye tirim se ne ba ya nipa bonifo bi emfa kuti kwan bi so embu ye maame no ewe dwom ene ye mfie ne ye nsori omo ko manim no omo say no individuals or groups are permitted to charge applicants any fee whatsoever for recruitment, processing or issuance of appointment letters. Almost say ka esimupi. Nipa bi ni Ghana Education Service ama ne kwenya say ono emfa nipa ema Ghana Education Service ebi ni Ghana Ghana Education Service, omni agency, omni groups. Yen share obia se onko ya share the tupa se onko fanipa ema Ghana Education Service. Ghana Education Service fanipa omwanka sa netonsa ema nipa ne ba omoho. Nti obi ba wenim se ye de ye organization ye kuo me nipa baako menim nkofo ene ye fanipa mom chi omomfo omoma police omye omambofo se mobetumi di omabro kakra momburo omo kakra mama munwu na momfo omoma police se omye nkofo bi a omudi nipa abro omo beji usikedi na omobu ene omame afaso inti mema oremfi. Now point 4 now. The general public is hereby cautioned that the appointment letters being issued to some persons and advertisement on recruitment into Ghana Education Service circulating on social media are fake. Almost say omoka esimupi. Say and wote ewo social media and our radio biso say Ghana Education Service fanipa na nipa asimesi na eboa eko asimesi na eboa almost say atro o ho kwan say obeka kire police na nipa onam mantem nipa oti radio so nipa onam baby ekeka nsansem no police ebetumi ache no almost say omoma ho kwan say obi endi agiremu mo almost say ye fanipa almost so omumfa nipa omumfa krata bia mba abontene imbre ne du so ombefa nipa omde official ana omo no asema aba abontene afa eye platforms to say yene de so CNN Loud Silence TV Media General TV3 BB to say de XYZ TV Wazer TV Radio Gold any TV sa ejina na so de say Ghanaian Citizen TV Facebook social media kura no BB to say Ghanaian Citizen TV Loud Silence TV with all due respect platforms papa say and in Koto 101 and Free Mind Family News and also credible news opa Free Mind Family News almost omni GS say information about ye be sa platforms we omni be bonten Ghana for ehunu kure no enti me bon tofa Ghana Education Service for say omu nyamfa nipa so obi aba wo nchen ono oba di nkomo obeka bibia kire say omu fa nipa na sebio oma ye ready say omo jisika ame afa obana oya trofo ma police embechi no asem no ne tofa na mabo akire no into Ghana na wutie mi a ha na asempa ne wo now mumye ndwam na yama Ghana for ehunu kure no asem ne say mami twa kakra nguso ai we teacher we as can tell no we na obo ensuo nko am he enso unsa brand table Facebook say can tell obo or settings onum anya ensuo he oh ensuo boga ayahwedie na okay ka asem sham tun ensuo sa ko video ni bi. All right, now yan call the next story so na yan dwedwe magana for ehunu kure no. Okay, all right. The next story enie the Ghana Journalists Association for president no biem omakoto aba ama omaseyi oye the president no Albert Kobna Jumfo ye re-elected as the Ghana Journalists Association president. The election went peacefully. I really give them that respect, and also we would like to commend them and also tell them say we really appreciate the election since to be a course. So the campaign was campaigner which was very professional. We did not hear anybody speaking against anyone. We saw the professionalism they added to the campaign. Contesting, people have accepted the defeat, and also those who were victors, they have also accepted to be elected to lead the Ghana Journalists Association. The president, the immediate president, has been nominated or re-elected as the president again. And we like to tell the Ghana Journalists Association, especially the president who has been re-elected, it is simple. This job is not complicated. To be a journalist, you don't have to be a complicated person. You don't have to follow complicated rules. You just have to be principled enough. Right now that you have been made the president again, it means the people who were listening to you or following you or watching what you do. I'm talking about people who are in the GJA circle, registered members of the Ghana Journalists Association. They saw it right to put you back, meaning you were doing something right. My advice to you is simple. Be the president of the Ghana Journalists Association. Don't be a politician. And I'm saying this because sometimes when GJA presidents, they are under pressure to always try and impress people. And in the process, sometimes you are forced to go after the opposition or you are forced to go after the government of the day. You have the right to criticize what is wrong. You have the right to make sure the code of conduct is upheld. You have to make sure the ethics of Ejumana Amoyeno, you basically make sure say it's within the law. So all that I will tell you is, as the president of the Ghana Bar Association, do not make some people pressurize you to think, say, and yeah, say Siana MPP opposition, I was saying making sure say all my statements have to be against the government. No. And don't also let it to look like, say, NPP opposition, in conformity pressure, into I have to force myself. Say, story new cry, I need to put something on the government. That is also wrong. You need to be just in your deliberation. The members of your organization, what you need to do right now as the president of the Ghana Journalist Association is to tackle fake news. I am one person who has always advocated for strong or harsh punishment for people who spread fake news. Because Mimetiano saying I'm spreading fake news and kende majority of people who watch me in and I have always upheld say we need to make sure the news we put out are credible news. That's why I'm consistent every time I sit here. And you winning, congratulations. We just want to tell you, say, you have to focus and make sure you are not going to fill this position for the next year or 2 or 3 to please a political party or please some individuals in Ghana. When it is wrong, let the people know it is wrong. When it is right, let the people know it is right. Do not occupy this position again with the intentions of pleasing politicians. Because you see, when politicians go into opposition especially, they try to use people like you in office to do their dirty job. I don't want you to expose yourself, to allow yourself for these politicians to use you. And I'm also not leaving out politicians in power. They always want to have the media on their side. But especially those who are majority of the time hungry for power, they always try to put pressure on people like you. So you need to be resolute in your leadership. Fake news is something you need to tackle. And there's one thing you need to do. You need to make sure you put punitive measures, not just say we will tackle fake news. The government as a whole, the communications ministry, the government as a whole will be doing its job generally tackling fake news. But you as GJA, make sure every single member or organization, Ghana Journalist Association, every single member understands say the punishment that awaits anybody who tries to peddle fake news, it is huge, and that it will not even make the journalism attractive. You need to deal with individual journalists. You need to let people know, say, they are deterrent when you are a journalist, when you are part of our organization. Or the right to do it, the government will take care of that person. But as far as the person is a registered member of the Ghana Journalist Association, you people have to put some law. You need to put some deterrent laws in place to make sure people do not go against the ethics of the job. People do not misinform and disinform the public. Just saying, say, stop this, we urge you not to do this, that is not deterrent enough. We want you to come up with punitive measures. We want to see some punishment that is strong. Something that will deter people from trying to even engage in fake news or trying to misinform or disinform. So, as we speak today, I would like to congratulate you, but the new journey you are about to basically embark on, you need to come to us and let us know the kind of measures you are putting in place to deter people, especially your members who are part of the Ghana Journalists Association, from engaging in misinformation, disinformation, fake news peddling. You need to let us know. The talk is too much. We will take action. We will make sure nobody gets themselves involved in that. We will do everything to stop fake news. No, we need laws. The GJA needs to set rules, punitive measures. Let people be scared. I'm talking about the members of the GJA. Let them know that this leadership is not joking, and that when I sit on radio, when I sit on TV, when I'm given the opportunity to talk to Ghanaians, educate Ghanaians, or to basically inform Ghanaians, I will not have that luxury of trying to lie to them. Inti, we expect you. We expect you. The GJA president, it should not be business as usual. With all due respect, you know me, I have sat here, criticized you before. And I'll keep on criticizing if I don't see any changes in the rules that binds the GJA, especially the members. We were here when people went to sit on TV and radio and misinformed Ghanaians. The rules we are going to put on the ground, it should also cover people who are interviewing misinformers. The journalists sitting on TV and radio, if that journalist allows somebody to come on their show to misinform, those rules you are putting in place, the rules you are going to put in place should affect that journalist. We are supposed to be the gatekeepers. So when Kwansi Ampenyi said the third vice chair of the NPP sit on TV to mislead Ghanaians, not journalists, man, caught free without making him a retractor. Your rules and regulations, that laws you are going to put in place, it should affect that journalist. We are supposed to be gatekeepers. When we are journalists sitting on TV and radio, we are the ones who are supposed to filter the fools we interview. In this TV, so now Okase, I want to say this. I'm disassociating this from the TV. The journalist is supposed to tell him whether you disassociate what you're about to say from the TV or the show you are sitting on. I am not going to allow you because I am part of the GJA and they expect me to uphold the ethics. So whatever you are going to say which is not right, do not do it. So we have to empower journalists. We need to empower broadcasters to understand the say. So be better TV so can say, okay, the American, I'm issuing a disclaimer. You, the journalist, as an individual, no, you are part of the GJA, and that rule now or the law now GJA it affects you. We need to set the rules in such a way that we cannot just get away with it. Because there are some journalists on TV, on radio, they allow the politician to come on TV, malign people, misinform people, misdirect people, and then the journalist will say, oh, Okano, or can say he is not affiliated to our TV. No, because your T auntie. And at your TS so the coin on back in BTB. So you, the journalist, is your responsibility to tell the person whether you are disassociating yourself from my TV or from this show or issuing a disclaimer. I, as a journalist, I am not going to allow you to put out this misinformation or disinformation. So you either retract or leave my show. And the GJA president has to make sure they put things on paper to make it effective. And not just you enjoy that position. I like it. I know the flamboyance that comes with it. And I know you get excited when the women are saying, Mr. President, but I'm going to check you. You people have about a month to put a policy together, to put some rules and regulations up so that journalists in Ghana, especially those who are your members, those who are not your members, I don't care about them. I am talking about those who are your members. You need to set rules that are tight for them to understand that we want to clean the system. We want to make sure the system is free of disinformation and misinformation. We want to make sure the system only absorbs what is right. We are gatekeepers. We have the authority to stop mad people from polluting the system. These are very, very important things. I was saying, so we should not forget. Team, put a pin in this. Remind me in a few weeks, I'll come back and call out the GJA president again. We want to see this as a document. We want to see this as part of their constitution. We want to see this as something that will deter some journalists from doing what they are doing. It's very, very important. Now, somebody says every time they check your snap, you'll be eating food. Obedi GJA chairman president machako pa. Oh sorry, anakuta phones miensa. GJA president phones miensa how the other. Ade orane cafe. Ana orane a gold mine. GJA president okuta phone miensa ni ebieli ka gate amano. And it comes with a job. Fine, you are enjoying it, but we are going to hold your hand to the fire. Make sure you see a check out snapper. They be na udidi. GJA president. Boys is almost check out snapper. They be a udidi. They be a buffet. They be a you fork. They be a pointing nam or triachi. Where they need been in the Mufaka Krenguso. Guys, I didn't know. Neye Jumano. Now up a point to do. You see, they be a check out snapper. Be a na udidi. Jai didie na check ya juma na ya toama ya judi wait ni kakra be kan ho lower wait ni kakra first now sit to your form they say mu bie lower ni kakra maintain your level and when you bring to me share say make the kakra but let's maintain it here. GJ president I mate say ya chikokuo we ya chi eye akoya friend Kofi Juma. And I'm surprised that Ghanaians are discussing Kofi Juma. And then we will say in Kotoye a show be about Kofi Juma. Kofi Juma is one of the most despicable fools in Ghana. Kofi Juma. Upe Ghana penifo bi o Jimmy pa untumi yi 10 abra unji Kofi Juma. Ya ka Ghana penifo ya ka say Ghana penyini we dey with Jimmy. Uyi 5 na Kofi Juma kan wana unye Juma papa. Ya ka one of the most careless people in Ghana. They talk carelessly. Kofi Juma okasa te say preko. Kofi Juma, okasa te se preko. Kofi Juma is nobody any Ghanaian should see as a role model. We are not supposed to see Kofi Juma as an old fool we will take anything from. We are going to learn anything from. That guy is a despicable disease. And you see police for Kofi Juma, meti yasi amani bail. Or no office na or shower Gihawk no. Gihawk na NDC ba ebe ye ni ye. Eye hanatetemo ebe tina ho e buildi Gihawk ye or den kwasi ebe tina ho. Kofi Juma tina TV so ka say or no de wenya ace or best spread makumaso for ma. Metna so many times in 2024, I spoke about Kofi Juma. Papa we Jimmy and or share bibi a friend. Where they were nini, where they Nancy tatai, where they are yarefo. Kofi Juma Jimmy we Jimmy and Chen Kufuado. So today I took Kofi Juma ni amani bill. So we are buying cars me and sa. Media I was saying money demu. Kofi Juma ni pabia. I was see a gentleman occupy space for Ghana. I was some chini share money demu. No we Jimmy. Now where headed to me to a Kufuado afu because ne ba wari Kufuado. Kofi Juma nyo obia o se anketina Ghana. Ne yeso so Kofi Juma so. Ana na nkendi amochi na nkosom de kokoti ne ya. Oye ri. Kofi Juma enye nipa bia waye bibia abo Ghana. Yeti krom ha. Kofi Juma ni nipa bonesem o starting na santimemu. Kofi Juma kromfo we. O starting ni nipa bonesem wa santimemu. Kofi Juma ka cha santifo se Obama Street nyina name sika otwato asantifo so enye ne go back and check. Kofo time Kofi Juma ka say wako bibia friend abrochire America wati Boulevard na asantifo te Santas ni atro Santas Boulevard eye ofokro Boulevard kwasampa yiwe ono na se wa start street name in Kumasi otumi ko gina baby okodi oba bi achi na ono oba ne koda wie na eche na o se area ha ekuya Gift Boulevard ode nkwasiadi na otwa budget Kofi Juma sa kwa we ni wanwia na ebo no obewu na abo 430 Kofi Juma bewu ompem onka no kure enkwara Kofi Juma ase o mabra abo Kumasi asantimemu enya binie until when Kofi Juma is arrested by the police. Why should it be a problem for some people to say Kofi Juma e penyini? Kofi Juma jimi way. Before election 2024, I spoke on Kofi Juma the way he was running Gihawk. Kofi Juma for over 3 years no run office da. Or the kwasi ati Kumasi no di kwenye. Onya ni esiriba kakra na ne nase tataya ni akoto edura brand no anom. Onya feti pe no akodi ma. Why is the police dog? Mebeka Kofi Juma samwa ha. Madam for journalist be text no. O ka kire nipa nso onka kire me say. Onu Kofi Juma enye nanim na da ballot no so nti emfa kwasi anko. Kwasi ampanyi we. Nanim tum nanim pinka. Kofi Juma nanim pinka say wo menses. Eno nam Ghana ne ho tan. Ne ho tan. Eno nam Ghana. Ene yeso so nkwasi afo we so. O start ball kro no enye ne Kofi Juma. Ende wakɔwi abanka ne atena na amanfo bi to and ade ne machi Kofi Juma nkwasi asem o start ne Ghana o start ne Kumasi me say MPP for person mudi nkwasi asem o start ne menhia because omunim say omudi nkwasi asem o menhia asantifo ni bi be protect omo and na de bia make cha asantifo say enimtia MPP di bu eye asantiman no omo start ne o menhia and nti ende say MPP embo adwuma asantimemu a na omo akɔhye menhia ti ye ya de hye na po Jimmy Fowe yetumi suso na position of vice president abra ye nim se enkoyi Kofi Juma nkwasi ade a wadi ne Ghana at a point otumi gina Gihawk workers enim. All right, otumi gina Gihawk workers enim so otumi me nda and you leave and me the be show boy and me mbada by had kwasi nipa mu kwasia me Kofi Juma mu say me hu mu say respectable impenifuo ewurate Yakopon me Kofi Juma me who say oya bua bi mame Kofi Juma ombu Ghana for and yene yasoso ne so yeti Kumasi yasoso Kofi Juma so yasoso Kofi Juma mo maame fo amuti Kumasi munim Kofi Juma jantra oba ode nkwara adeda munim yensi entumagu paw entumagu abontene yensi entuma fi abontene ana Kofi Juma de Jimmy saa de bedru nne munyina munim Kofi Juma history chairman munyina munim Imbra mbiye Kofi Juma scandal wasa kwasi ampanyi we o say Gihawk otifie ena oji sika ena we create committee ena mu wie sika. We should stop this guy. I did a whole scandal on Kofi Juma kwasi we ko Gihawk unim de okokan ya mame bonkyere wo Jimmy fo nanim tan we ne wo fun tan na yeso so mo so Ghana akwa we me ye ne scandal we de okogina Gihawk kan ni. Yes, that's what Kofi Juma me for ba me pe ma utia go to
my so for free to man. My question baby I can bribe or so. Hey, come at my dear. That's how I was. But first cabra, why you want to be that? Anything you try to come. It's up. Because yeah, people are Canadian. Let's be a man in the. If it's a man, baby, I have a patch we are. We are for the team is the and Madam Cromia. And that is the attitude that you are performing now.
Champagne way a leader of Gihawk. Also on J bribe that every say or in the position, no. Kofi Jumanko Abrochenko that jail da. Everything yakopon. Samaya, whoever is going to head Gihawk, they need to make everybody reapply or Gihawk. I don't try for us some more Gihawk no. Sa MPP I don't try for us some Gihawk no. Me, I am going to try and find whoever is in charge of Gihawk. I am going to call the person personally and tell him, let every single person at Gihawk reapply. Nkwasiade Kofi Juma ye wo Gihawk wo no. Ye ka kire wa ebe wanwa. Wey hwe ni age. Odi ogina nkora ni moka. Ade be chi na ne yiri di ne cha ko gina sore dem. Me kunu de o ma nkasa nanim ukunu banchi. Nanim tan se ye re koji opuro nkwan. Na nkwasiafo te Ghana ende Kofi Juma ko wia Ghana. We wia Ghana aban cars miensa ye de ne ko hyema obi se wonte ase e na mbra bi kire se e ma Kofi Juma kwasiampanyi Kofi Juma ono we bie company bi ma obi akoye Juma wo. Omu kasa by heart e de se de omo bibidi en so omo kasa company omo bie company pomfo ni pa Juma na kwasia se ni nam Ghana ye so no so den a wanyini panyina wajimi mu so wajimi ah panyini a wajimi. There's nothing if you are calling ba nyansa. And it is only the MPP that will allow such a fool to head a very sensitive company or sensitive government institution like Gihawk. I didn't know Kofi Juma ho a nyansa. Nipa fin say. Ya catch him say akwa weti Gihawk. And a odin kwasi asem na nipa bi defend Kofi Juma. Be bien wa watra wa kanyansa sam he in some libinie. Kwasi ampanyi weti ti Ghana yeso kwasi asem to.
Me de na ya accident o.
Sese.
Enya accident.
Ene ye den.
Ede na me ko Gihawk.
Aha.
Accident bi na de ko pija me ko to Gihawk. But me ko no obi anim se ho ba kwaro mo tun baby ma no. No onya didi. That was the intention. Enya de Ghana for china say akwa we hear the skills ye de no ko ha oba ya de.
Ye to otwene ho.
Now if you say Gihawk ye na ke de ko akabo ebe yo de.
Na mpe Gihawk.
Ah, na koko board ni sa na wa obi ya minti ni di.
E jo ho na ope.
Awari yakopon wo hear de man ka wo.
Na se wo so de nyame.
E go for the koko board ni to ni ma me ko Gihawk no. So ati say na me car, me MP car no. E to mi si etimi mfiri nkran e me duru ah. Ntina me de VIP MD no. Koko board ko ka boss baby ote. Ne fleet of cars are available. And now say ko tough for ne wo mo keka ho.
Omu dide.
Of course. Ne people do small push. Ghana koko ni se so. Small push.
But it makes you a leader. Your leader, your ability to transform the place.
Ah, me chese. Me can't just say to me. But we do how you say do ko to the pa. What's that therefore? I can't one empty therefore. What open there me Eddie. Na say open there. And I will call the yes, natural will be up. And I will call the dealing with me as a now.
These are the kinds of people that want to Ghana. Or say Gihawk here in the corner, just accident in the good ho. Or Gihawk want to help you. This is the MPP. Yes, or Casado do Mofan got to Gihawk. Wona, mene umi a neutral taxes, Eddie Shakwasi and pay you, or catch or say, Hodi and got to an accident, or maybe a sika crowd or Kasiako di. Ni parfum tantan say. Yes, a carry the deep penina taboo. Na some penny for say 50. E wo man mu e better no man akoso. Sa Jack Toronto say sa 50 and then I'm Ghana. Mo fan go to Kumasi Zoo baby nko on Jack Toronto mo koda ho. Wey, mo fan go to Joe Black nchen e wo Kumasi Zoo. On Don Patro mo no mo ko tare dua ho. Hwe nkwasi asem obi na no ka. Gihawk ni ne kotu ya na yetua ne ka yama ne ka. Yetua ne ka chen teacher ni. Gihawk na o lead ni yetua ne ka chen teacher ni. Yetua ne ka chen police ni. Yetua ne ka chen soldier ni. Yetua ne ka chen nurse ni. Yetua ne ka chen Ghana 90% of civil workers or see a accident keke kwasia. Entitlement. Omuko school papa bia aboniafo ena yede politics where do ya santini where do ya MPP ni o unim no Kofi Dwuma hey na ye mayor kwasi ampa yi we oni na emu didim ade ni jimi ameduru ani ache na obi adwa Kofi Dwuma ni Preko difference be ni wo because Preko we have to feed Preko every day for Preko no ndore srade ye feed ya kwema na do srade ye fa go to prison amodwa akwa kwasi ampa yi we ye feed no manado srade mo fa no go to prison no owu a amanfo so mo ntiase adan a de odi ye Kofi Dwuma no ye ntiase Kofi Dwuma ne mfa so be na wono so Kofi Dwuma nkwase ade a oyeye ye ntam Ghana sika man nkwada koko board ye mfa no nkototo na nanum kankan ne hu ace no onfa nkopen nkwara ho ose we di penyini atam udu obi afre ni penyini ni obi a odwene daache odwene akwara a onye ne ba ho odwene oman a ede eyedien okunafo sika etua ne ka penyini ni obi a de bia otre ho ose de na ede amamia menye ne ye penyini ni obi a okasa otum se we de ye betum de abobra kwase ampanyi we de na won ho ye penyini ana mono monte penyini ase enti ama nipa bi di age mi wo Ghana ene ye gya omo nom di age enyini age keke ene omo di jimi omo wo Ghana na wo papa ni na nkoti TV so ka san kwase nke be wo de anka on ferry into then because of politics inti obi to a defend odwanwe me Kofi Dwuma there's nothing about this guy bibia no Kofi Dwuma betuma de aye a contribute to Ghana biem at this point Kofi Dwuma e dey ben pa no betum aka Ghana ho a dirty fool like this or starting Okumasi and om de to asantifo trim hey MPP for Kofi Dwuma mayor hey Kofi Dwuma we name street me see ati kroma na Kofi Dwuma be name street. He told you on radio he was not even qualified for the job. They just damned him there. Kofi Dwuma Kache said he wasn't qualified for the job. They just damned him at Gihawk. Waton Gihawk properties worth 700,000 Ghana. Tete Ghana is $700,000. Gihawk, Ejapade. Let me show you. Mami hear Gihawk no. I need to find this video. Mr. B. Gihawk. Mame nkyerɛ osibia NDC for John Mahama omone eye hanatatemo sibia mo be change Gihawk ye wie de danima MPP Kofi Dwuma ndem no ka say ofri Gihawk no Gihawk eye equipment ene eye den eye properties eye Gihawk dia no waton almost $700,000. This is the Gihawk NDC for Jama Kofi Dwuma kwasiawe.
Established in 1958, Gihawk Distilleries is the oldest distillery in West Africa. It is the sole surviving company from the Gihawk Group of industrial manufacturing companies set up by Ghana's first president. Located in the North Industrial Area of Ghana's capital, Accra, it has been manufacturing alcoholic beverage brands like Castlebridge, Herb Afrique, Mandingo Bitters, Takai, for over 50 years. Over the years, its fortunes began to dwindle, like many state-owned enterprises before it. A decision had to be taken about its future.
It was a company that was profitable, but it did have some major challenges at the time. And what was also very clear was that since the factory was constructed, no major expansion or rehabilitation had happened. And so they were really running with equipment that was quite obsolete. Now, the policy direction was to make sure that to the extent that this was not a business that had been placed on divestiture, then it had to be run as a profitable concern. And so the challenge for the ministry was to see how best we could make that happen.
A decision was made to look for an able leader, somebody who can have what we call a corporate turnaround. So K. Simmons was brought on board.
In 2010, under the direction and leadership of a new board and management, Gihawk began to chart a new course.
Gihawk was, I think, the last of the many industries or factories that the late Dr. Kwame Nkrumah set up. They had all been divested, and we're not seeing anything. So we said, no, at least this one must survive. We were going to prove to government that state-owned enterprises can be run profitably. And that was the mandate we gave ourselves and the vision that we gave ourselves.
It quickly became evident that various production issues needed to be tackled.
My first impression was a very old, run-down factory, extremely dusty. There's a large, factory wall, perimeter wall, dirty, no branding, a lost opportunity. In terms of a corporate image, Gihawk then didn't have it. The factory floor, there were so many people working there, very noisy, and there was a kind of stench. You wonder, what's the stench? But I got to find out it was the drains right inside the factory floor, and also at the time they were using cook starch as labeling glue, and so they might cook it for about a week, and then obviously it starts smelling. So that was being used. I went to the bottle sorting area. It was really too small. It was a shed, and most of the bottles were out, and so people were working out, and not under the shed, but out because the place was too small. And in terms of GMP, that's good manufacturing practice, really we didn't have it at all. There were broken bottles everywhere, and there were about 80 plus people, men, mainly women and men, washing bottles by hand, and it was just laborious.
But the one challenge that brought the greatest change emerged 4 months into the managing director's time at Gihawk.
I came in April, and around June, July, there was, it started raining. And because the factory, paint and so on, the factory, but it was more than that, especially when I was told that this happens every year.
The scene was set, and the turnaround then began.
We met the management, and within the shortest possible time, they came up with a 5-year strategic plan.
Was quite a mammoth task, and the project was done in phases. So the main factory, I call it phase 1 and 2, was about 2,400 square meters. We first have to raise the foundation way above, slightly above the street level. We brought in panels, insulated panels from Dubai. And once that was done, the metal framework with the insulation panels just went on. And really within 4 months, the factory was built. In the meantime, with the EDIF 5 million, we've managed to start purchasing some of our machinery and so on. And so once the factory was built and we had the tiling and so on, we started installing new or retooling some of the old machines to increase their capacity.
Gihawk Distilleries has always had the potential. In other words, it was in the board. That's I think in total we went for about 17 million.
Industrial development. Again, if you look at Gihawk, they have been trying to export. That again falls within our mandate because part of our mandate is to promote the earnings of 5 million Ghana cedis to them.
Right. So,
paid dividends.
On June 23, 2016, President John Dramani Mahama commissioned the new factory and was taken around to tour the new Gihawk. Undoubtedly, the leadership that has persevered to bring about this turnaround cannot be denied. It's available right here in Ghana. The question is, do we dare to find it, nurture it, and protect it?
Madam have tried a lot because when she came here, we don't have a lot of this. We are in a financial problem, but now she have tried. She have tried. Now things are moving on. We have new.
This is what NDC did in 2016, handed over to Kwasi Ampenyiwe. They handed this whole thing to Kofi Juma Kwasi Ampenyiwe. Where's this fool's face? They did all this job. John Mahama 2016, Hanatete Mone, the manager of Gihawk, they handed over to Kwasi Ampenyiwe. Menoka say Kofi Juma ba office, the salary 25,000, he moved it to 40,000, 400 million every month. Na otna fie every Friday. Na yaya momo yaya momo abreno. Sa momo na omo ye no. You see weekly allowance 40,000, 400 million old Ghana. Kwasia. Every Friday na ye de alawa breno fie. And into a tuano can kwasiasem na obi a defender na den a wenyini oya santini Kofi Juma de and I won ka de obeye mayor and a kwasia we num kankan onam Ghana no wajimi no na ende ya china obi be so defend we say we ye penyini e de ne ma Kofi Juma ye penyini. What makes him penyini a also ye ni to no so uyi preko ni Kofi Juma emfa so be na Kofi Juma so emfa so preko so. And we sit in Ghana, we always entertain foolish people. We always use age. Na kwasiebi nyini, na odi nyini, na ojimi, na onyini, na ojimi. Kwasia na onyini, na ojimi, wenyini, na ojimi. Yanka no kure nchire di pano. Yes, wenyini, na onyini, na ojimi, na onyini, na ojimi. The same thing that Kofi Juma. Odi 23 no ojimi. Oh, Kofi Juma, we never know. Asantini, no Jimmy 28, no Jimmy. Kofi Juma, or can a busu asamo 30, Kofi Juma, or the Jimmy sa, wabaya se, wabaya nana. O can any man among for bofu. Adea, where do you penny? Ninquara Beno started Jimmy ye, when free Jimmy no wabedruha, wabogana chrono, he needs to rot in jail. Kofi Juma, he needs to rot in jail. Onyini na ojimi, onyini na ojimi, onyini na ojimi. We Jimmy and you better this point, and the yin twa obi so on tiasie. Masa yenko enim. Now, this is a very important step the government has taken. I am very, very happy about. And then when the MPP for Kofi Juma no give 40,000 Ghana cedis every 5 days. Alawa. Ya du momo ni momo so near the brand momo. Near your 40,000 amano. Kwasi ya unko juma. Nenimu tumse brisie. Na tan. Kofi Juma, na one tan on Kofi Juma not if na 5 days you above 40,000 a man. Ni pay 25,000 we move 40,000, 50,000. Kwasi ampenyi we. Now abuo funu o Ghana na echichire ma wana se echichire ma ye. Now, and the NDC government is taking a step in the right direction. I am very proud to see this today. Yeah, sorry, I didn't say because recently, and the president of the republic, John Dramani Mahama, can't say Michelle Ghana for say, plastics, and now plastic I use in Ghana no. I was see a pekwine biso now ye limited the amount of plastic Ghana using. Intenche bi na president by announcement say aban no edin hihye bi beto a ebeboa ama Ghana for ye taste any akona ewo plastic use mu a say environment and the oko Ghana beach bia plastic say no and the Ghana upe baby kwa ye efu a unya plastic say no ye use plastic ama oman nankasa no ensase a eye papa pa obetibe use no Ghana say say no and a plastic so say no enti NDC aban we buy no they wanted a way a yeni timemufo no we can help your taste for plastic use no ye betuma manaba form kakra and they sorry ya the abetin say plastic sebio ye ne dodo Ghana plastic bag plastic chair and the plastic chair a bupe ye wu be fanto dey jato asase ne so na eno so it taking years upon years ansana sa plastic no ade anane over 40 years ansana plastic bag kra anane was asase se enane so a enya se enane abo asase no enane asase no. Now you're sorry prices of locally manufactured plastic products to increase by 7% effective tomorrow 1st July due to implementation of 5% excise tax. It is in the right direction. The only way Ebema Ghana for akona yewo plastic mu no ebekon say e wo say aban tax plastic no sa aban de eye etoto plastic ne so a eye nipa dodo na ye hu plastic ye use plastic anyhow no ebema ye taste no any sibia ye use plastic na ebeko form oba America as na tie me I buy most of my things from the Trader Joe's. Now when you go to Trader Joe's mo amuti America muti mo shop your better places no. America chroma etino abaning him say so sorry no beka America ni say wo do not use plastic. American in beka say I know my rights. So American in president and abano sorry beka American in say we want to protect the environment. We want to protect the unborn generation. American in beka quarter beka say I know my right. I will not understand. So what the American government ayen say the American government or the taxes out of plastic so. And you got plastic, a plastic bag, this plastic chest. Ade bi e de rubber ye bia no. And the Americano ne buono sebio e wosoro. Now, your alternative to plastics. So one to plastic bag or better paper bag. Now, when you pick paper bag and plastic bag, the bois environment no a paper bag. Into America buy no am a paper bag na ye full. By plastic bag and the boarding. Internet oko supermarket to America. Any Asian countries, baby abekobiano. Companies be okrampa, they don't give plastic bags. Supermarkets be okrampa, they don't even issue more plastic bags. So per plastic bag also turn a boarding. But some majority of the companies and as a supermarket, say per plastic bag, per shopping bag, they'll give you paper bag for free. John Mahama a week ago catch a Ghana for say the issue with plastic or Ghana, I see a pequine so near limited the importation of plastic and even the manufacturing of plastic or Ghana. Near the alternative, which is using paper, any other things that will not degrade the soil. This is what John Mahama said a few weeks ago. Into this decision by the government today is a decision if you want the environment to be protected, if you want us to get rid of a lot of plastics in the system, and the Oko Ghana beach is clear, unya baby mponyare, and the Onam Ghana, a plastic aji baby afana. This is the way to go. The president actually spoke about it before, and then the Abayamra is something we must support.
One of the other things we intend to do is to ban styrofoam as a food packaging material. One of the most pernicious polluters is styrofoam plastic. When you go to buy your food and they put it in that white plastic something, and then you finish eating, you just dump it.
that is one of the biggest polluters. And so we're going to ban the importation of styrofoam plastics. We have to use paper packaging or aluminum foil for packaging our food. And so I'm informing the manufacturers and importers of styrofoam with the Ministry of Environment. Soon we're going to ban the importation of styrofoam and production of styrofoam in Ghana. Our food packaging will be made from paper and also from aluminum material. Fellow Ghanaians, the journey from landfill, fellow Ghanaians, it sounds very familiar, yeah? But that's what they so,
and our president in the kind a few weeks ago, I say, sa styrofoam, sa okoto indomie, okoto fried rice, not sa paper white, bina a box white in the nina assassino. And sa plastic bags, plastic caps, ne sa nyoma nyina no. Abani di nkan kan say, oba wo sisi abaka cho say men use plastic bag a onti ase, hey, jo mahama mpa asem, ye be dwa enufu, ye be demonstration, ye be twe to ase. Say Jomahama ba santime beka say hey plastic na ye use no kenye tia bebrebe no sense ase ma ye nsase ne say ekowura asase mu a entumi ma asase no enya ahoden etumi sense entumi nyefuo ede na sisi ye gates wo Ghana ope one thing na gates sewage and drainages e wo Ghana pa plastic and a blocky 90% of gutters apart from soil and I say ahwia na ebogu gutters no because your gutters no ye ntumi silini ye nti ahwia na e won chen no e na gum ma gutters no majority of them esi but open another contributing factor to drainages are a block of Ghana plastic enti flat na ekoso enkran na enkofo bia ye omoni se mponcheni a yeti omo ba bi na omo sia kese na omoni se de ye de omo kwaji so bolo no. These are the things they need to advocate. These are the things they need to push, that we need to ban the use of plastics in Ghana. Things like paper, aluminum foil, sanyomano, sebio, and say ensaseno, and no a bois emit which remino, and ma equiafonia problem, and no ensigates. Until right now, no, a binding decision and say, yato a plastics in sao pakoto. The more motor no you best to more until see a bedu that point Ghana for be say paper and who on for so plastic Ghana for be say aluminum foil and who on for so plastic into this is how it's supposed to be done. You see, we are in a modern world where a government needs to think, a government needs to be proactive, a government needs to be on its feet, think ahead of its citizenry and bring the citizenry along when it comes to building a nation. And this is the first way. The first move the government has made is the best because then majority of the beaches in Ghana won't mean ko obeko plastics and Asia. This is the time me pese abano as time goes on say sa increment we and taxes say that plastic so no say yanje antum na da ho ye plastic abanin santum. It will get to a point and there oko America supermarket and media shop at Trader Joe's. I'll tell you omomoko lower markets no Uduwa, your ton bag no 5 cents. It is over to bag na to open paper bag na free. It is only nyansa. You just take the paper bag and move. Me go Trader Joe's a paper bag and the mommy. How many paper bags I want? They'll give me. I cannot insist on plastic because they don't give out plastic bags, and that is where we have to head now. For Ghana, no. This is the avenue you have to start looking. Munko be paper factories in Ghana and manufacture paper bags. Senebeya companies and people who go out to shop no will be buying these paper bags from you because this is everlasting. So you switch it to paper bags and using paper and foil to replace air plastica. It is going to be an everlasting production or money making venture. Until we are young businessman, we are young Ghanaian. That's all per se. We venture into this kind of business. This is the time. Having a paper bag company is not big. It's not difficult to do. There are people who even are able to. Paper bag is just glue and paper. You just need strong paper. You use glue, and when you get the right people to build it, and no, you are in business. You will get a fried rice. They will buy from you locally in Tubetuma Mantem community. Now we have paper bag no, and then so we have 500. Oh, they are fried rice on away. The ton fried rice say, boss. Oh, they tono bakubia otono ebia 2 cedis. Oh, mami way, yes, or ton, Ediane, on a ton wache, or the tobacco be 1 cedi. That is what you do. O ton a pack. Community-wise, young people, entrepreneurship, YEA. This is another avenue that you should create opportunities in conformity to my investing in. The young people in Ghana, we need to go into paper production. We need to go into investing in paper area production. Send a bet to me use the papers as an alternative. Now, plastic in floor, packaging, any other paper is important. Intermediate ubusamia, metia broche, many bie, menya kwasia, me pesa Ghana koso. You plastics in Ghana. So I support the government 5% excise tax on plastics in Ghana. Say Ghana for continue to use plastics. Moma ye moving 10% excise tax. Let us keep moving the tax up until Ghana for will get to that point where they would decide not to use plastics. And then you bet my sa I make sure say ya. So this is a good move by the government. I appreciate this, Mr. President and government of Ghana. Team. Okay, I have about 15 minutes. Now, this story too is very important. We are studying the now, apprenticeship program, no, and the NDC are buying Akasa. Mr. P, Mr. S, are we good on TV? Yes, it say, Nipa Oda, National Youth Authority, NYE. Or say, persons with disability or disabilities to gain automatic selection in first 10,000 beneficiaries of the National Apprenticeship Program. Sa National Apprenticeship Program MPP NDC abai ediaba a sebio obi pese abai boano na osia insanu juma. It does not matter where you are. O find the NYA office bia say obeso koye welder na unim obi a oye master wo area ho a aban betune naka na aban a enroll you na aban de wama sa welder no na welder no ene akire wadwuma eba ehun sikasem ne ade a welder no one aban ne beka sa entrepreneurship program we e cover insanu dwuma bebre. Tailoring, a cover carpentry, a cover welding, painting, a cover anything art. It covers engineering. It covers a lot. It's about skill. And Abine say sa eye jumadi omudia beya ebe boa Ghana mbebunu ene omo omankasa esua omonsa no dwuma no. Omo say yenuanom a omo ho aka a from people with disability. Yenuanom a sebio obo a yewo 99 ni wo obi so to a ebia akwanhia na obenya ya ebia wedi dem yenuanom a modi dem no aban se omo se sa amanfo no emu nipa ebeye 10,000 omo de so omo gitum se be pese be kosua de pam se nipa sebio omo ho nkaye enum ba sa nipa ba akora ne ho aka ne obedi eba bedi line enim agya omo ho nkaye no aban se omo ho aka so omo gitum se omo pese apprenticeship program no omo de omo ho gimu a aban no ebe omo priority omo na aban bedi nkan hwe omo ansa ne ahwe Ghana fo a omo ho nkaye wey eye aban a edwene obia ho. This is a government that is looking out for every single person. This is a government they don't want to leave anybody behind, and I support this 100 or 1,000%. People with disability, mamika bibinchiro abrochi kura ya abrochi. There are people with disability, they are still fighting for their rights. They are still fighting for some very fundamental things. Ewa abrabom, ewa abrochi. Abrochi, people with disability, every single day, they are still fighting for some things to be done for them. Into a country like Ghana, a third world country, Nasa Abani say, obey entrepreneurship program in Sanujuma na sebio omo amodi dem na omodi the first priority omo na sebio senipa edu ewura YEA office na edu no emu nkono omo ho nkaye omo nan wo ho omo nsa wo ho omo giregira omo na so na nipa ba akokora ka omo na ne ho aka ana wedi dem a aban no ebehwe sa nipa no ansa na omo moto aso no mahwebo unim what this means to a government or a country. Do you as a Ghanaian, do you know what this means? The government or a chrono people with disability, the prerogative, they are making them a priority. They are putting them ahead. They are giving them that hand na busa for years. The number of years we have neglected people with disability. Yes, sit down, our Ghana cry, young consider Sebio, Yenuanuma, omwedi dem. Ye see court dying, ye see a abine dying, ye even ye see school cry, ye bu majority of the time, young consider omo. This is a government aba. It is considering, and the menoka say people with disability, oko a tertiary institution, a abine dia a free. This is a government that is doing something extraordinary. And I'm going to say apprenticeship program. So obi edi dema aban say obefa sa nipa no ansa na wafa nipa sebio ne wonsisi ne ho so. This is a big deal. This is a big deal. Yet krom ha na MPP ye nuanom a omodi dem a na omotete te toll booth ano a na coins kakra ye di tu omoka bosome amo akwanta kwasiampanyi ebubu toll booth ni nyina eka omugu fie. Yen nuanom no ekọ eye amwakwata ho se omokoje omo salary ye buo mo se nkwara. I have the video. I've played it for you to see before. But aban papa ba aban na aba no yen nuanom omo ho aka yen nuanom asebio omo ho adi dem no omo na aban na eyo edi omo eto ne niso se obeboa omo. This is a big step. This is a big leap. This is something we should not underestimate. When you are I was say, where the end is in a year. This is a huge burden the government is lifting. Yawa wofo bebra sebio oma say omomba embe burden na bia yare enti ebia akwanhie enti ebia bibi enti obia be burden abeda na busuafo so ebia bibi enti obi ho a yare bia na nka sebio on expect say bebo no and abo no ema otene maame ne papa so obi ho a nya the fault aban na help a way to make sure say sa nipa we so oma ye engage sebio oma nya adwuma kakra ya ma sika abo mu nsem oma nya nsanu dwuma. The government is taking burden oyi adeswa every awofobia sebio omumma omunuanom omabusuafo bi abaye den abaye burden ewo mo so. This is not something you joke with. NPP time amwakwata ka kire Ghana for say toll booth na yenuanom na omo aka etete ano jejeje to sika no okaso de beye bathroom murefi okaso mu mpiem firim omunko sestra de wabonten na toll booth no mtitim no obedane no into washrooms ne antikrom ha MPP Kofi Juma kwasi ampanyi MPP. This is the MPP and they are Ghana omunko asiafo some more rich ideas. Amanfo bi so they are rich. This is the same stupid people. Less than 6 months ago, we were living with them. These are the words they use. Omo kachire say, yen nuanom omo ho aka, omo di dem no, na omo gigi toll booth sika no. Sa nkwasiafo MPP kachom say, omo free toll booth no, na omo bedane ne washroom adwonsobia. And NDC abanya ba, ema NDC abanya say, sa nipa no, omo ye nipa maye, omo ye nuanom, e wo say ye ma omo den, ade a omo adwuma so a, omo benya nsa no dwuma omo omo bra. Na umpe we ope kwasi ampanyi bi party e friend MPP. Yet Ghana enkwasi asem nko a ye sori a ye nka no kre ene ama nkwasi afo bi hihye penyini di akire wenyini we de ti kwabo we de ohun se wenyini ohun se ne ho otan ade na wo kase nanim penyini a wejimi. So I support this initiative by the government. The YEA should move on and make sure people with disability, about 30% of the slots, they should make them a priority. We should create job opportunities for these people. We should let them know, say, Abain Ghana, so yenja omwechi. We believe in them. We also want them to help us build this nation. We want to build them with us. So the government should make people with disability a priority. And the way the government has started, I really support the government in the direction it's taking, our brothers and sisters. Into where you are buying part, Sebio, Uye nipa na unwaka wa Ghana. Na ebia oka people with disability one. This is the time you need to talk to your friends, your loved ones and say, Aban way, I will see a keeping on. Because 2028, so ututi Aban way ya, kwasi afone ba, omeka chira musel, munko sesa adi okwa hu. MPP kwasi afone ba, di omni ya mu 2024, omo pamu muni anum every tobu tum say omo de ba bathroom no omo ka kire mu nyina say munya Ghana fo monko abonten ko sesra de moma ye nyina yen support the aban ye no na ye nyina ye ntumi nkekere man no enu ntina de bia metia Ghana CNN enu ntina metia senia ye nuanom omo ho aka so omo ho beto omo very important say ye de betu ye trim. Now okay Mr. P, Mr. S, let's enter the wagon. After this short break ye be ra wagon num and in Sembebre Abama nipe bi twatro and it's got to do with judges. You say, Imrebi Yekuomo Ewo Ghana, and the MPP phobi mekanisa Ghana phobi at the same way, and na debiano omutite chire na sebio omo agenda do omutirimuno omo person de sa agenda ni nyina so a eye Ghana fo enyimbre ensema meka no platform we so no enye nipa bi de nipa bi ebo enyo so enda enyimbre ye bebusa nsem judges are say imbre bi ye ku omo Ghana no ye caption ebusa ne say judges no mo ye angels ana no mo nye bone da die na man nipa bi tumi sori anopa enyimbre anajo esha atade se mikoku judge bi. These are questions we need to be asking. And I would like to say this on authority. This platform condemns any form of assault, whether murdering people, shooting people, any kind of assault on a Ghanaian. We do not support anybody attacking anybody. And I would like to say this again. Some platform way, we will never condone whoever did what they did to the judges. We will always criticize, we will speak against that action of murdering a judge. And it should not be just murdering a judge, a Ghanaian, and most importantly, a human being. So we will never support murdering of a human being. But that should not also stop us from asking the relevant questions. And tonight, we will pose the relevant questions that are very uncomfortable. We will be saying things that are very uncomfortable. But you see, ope sebio oyare wan wedura sebio edrono diano eyano enena wonom, and that is what we are here to save tonight. It is very difficult, but we need to do it because at a point in our life, we need to ask questions, and when we get answers to those questions, and then a bit we move forward as a nation. We cannot always be playing to the book of some people. Some people have created a history that they want us to live with, and that history, if we don't ask questions, that history is going to drain us, destroy our democracy, and some people will take advantage of that history. And at the end of the day, you keep asking yourself, history. What actually happened for history to happen? Something might have happened for history to happen. After this short break, I'll delve into the killings of the judges. We will deal with the issues, we break the issues down, we let Ghanaians know the truth. You're still watching With All Due Respect Extended Version.
Yo! One, in their right mind living in Ghana, would have envisaged the remarkable trend of events that started with the arrest of a young Ghana Air Force pilot and 6 other serving men of the Ghana Armed Forces for mutiny on 15th May 1979. By May 28, 1979, the young officer and his men had been arraigned before a general court-martial to be tried for offenses that could result in the death sentence for all the defendants. The sentiments so boldly expressed in his statement, read in court by the prosecution, roused public sympathy. He openly denounced corruption, nepotism, and the abuse of power in the military, and expressed the general feeling of the Ghanaian people. The chord he struck in the hearts of his fellow countrymen and women set in motion a wave of anti-government sentiment not seen in many years. Then on June 4th, 1979, a rainy morning in several places in Ghana, the voice of this young Air Force officer pierced the morning's quiet over the airwaves. His message was simple: to redeem the dying soul of Ghana. Some officers of the armed forces and men had earlier forcibly released him from custody, and with the support of certain civilian elements, he led a revolt that ousted the then government of the Supreme Military Council. The Armed Forces Revolutionary Council, AFRC, of which he became chairman, came into being as the government of the day. The young officer soon became the living embodiment of hope, integrity, patriotism, and dedication to duty. Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings was his name. Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings, known to all as JJ, was born in Accra on 22nd June 1947 to a Ghanaian mother from Jelukope near Kitaa in the Volta region of Ghana and a Scottish father. He was educated at Achimota School, where he obtained his General Certificate of Education O-Level in 1966. He enlisted as a flight cadet in the Ghana Air Force in 1967 at the age of 20 and was subsequently selected for officer cadet training at the Ghana Military Academy, Teshi near Accra. In March 1968, he was posted to Takrady in the western region of the country to continue his course. He excelled and became the proud recipient of the coveted Speed Bird Trophy as the best in flying and airmanship in 1969. He was commissioned as a pilot officer in 1969, promoted to flying officer in 1971, and became flight lieutenant in 1978. Flight Lieutenant J.J. Rawlings' nature has always been averse to corruption. Even as a schoolboy in his mid-teens in the early 1960s, Jerry was aware of the corruption of the political leaders of the time. So when during his service he witnessed the deterioration of discipline and morale as a result of pervasive corruption among the top echelon of the armed forces who were then in power, he was determined to clean the services of this social canker. May 15, 1979 was the harbinger of June 4, 1979, which was an opportunity for Rawlings to rid Ghanaian society of corruption. Rawlings and his men had proclaimed that they were seizing power temporarily to purge Ghana of corruption and other crooked behavior, and responding to concerns at their action being on the eve of general elections, promised that the polls would go ahead. The crusading mutineers did not object to civilian rule, but to the prospect of military leaders retiring with ill-gotten wealth. They also extended their house cleaning to all sorts of civilian malpractices, from official corruption to everyday racketeering, hoarding, profiteering, and black marketing, called kalabule in Ghana. 3 months in office, and Rawlings endeared himself to the Ghanaian populace, who responded with enthusiasm and admiration for this courageous young man. True to his word, Rawlings handed over to a civilian government on 24 September 1979. He was soon missed by Ghanaians, for although President Liman and his People's National Party government had pledged to wage a relentless war on poverty and corruption, in continuance of the work of the Armed Forces Revolutionary Council, corruption and mismanagement flourished, and the gulf between the rich and the poor grew even wider. Then on 31st December 1981, Jerry John Rawlings burst onto the political scene once again. This time it was not a coup d'etat, it was simply a holy war. The events of 31st December 1981 had none of the violence and drama of the June 4th uprising in 1979. The first the people knew of it was a radio broadcast by Jerry John Rawlings at 11 a.m. on Thursday, 31st December 1981. The voice of Flight Lieutenant Jerry John Rawlings announced the takeover of power from the People's National Government of President Liman. On January 2nd, 1982, the new head of state, Jerry John Rawlings, made another radio broadcast to the nation. Rawlings and his colleagues formed the Provisional National Defense Council, suspended the Constitution, and banned all political parties. The PNDC stated that its major objective was to involve the people in decision-making, and Flight Lieutenant Rawlings called for the formation of defense committees throughout the country. There was an enthusiastic response to this call. People's Defense Committees, PDCs, sprang up in the communities, and the Workers' Defense Committees, WDCs, emerged at workplaces as organs of popular power. For 10 years, Flight Lieutenant Rawlings, as chairman of the PNDC, ensured that the political system in Ghana was stabilized and the economy put on a sound footing. He became the beacon of hope for the underprivileged, lighting their paths as he encouraged them to take their destiny into their own hands. His regular visits to the countryside always left an indelible mark on the minds of many rural folk and goaded them into working hard to improve their lives. When the ban on political activities was lifted on May 1st, 1992, Jerry Rawlings stood for the presidential elections on the ticket of the National Democratic Congress, NDC. He won massively by a whopping 58% and was sworn in as the first president of the Fourth Republic. The coming into being of the Fourth Republic meant the peaceful transition of quasi-military rule to a multi-party democratic system in Ghana. By this, Ghana had clearly come of age, and the international community recognized its unique status among African nations as a symbol of parliamentary democracy in Africa. To encourage direct foreign investment, the President, together with his ministers, has embarked on several trips abroad to encourage foreigners to invest in the country. His trips have taken him to the United States of America, Europe, and the Far East. These trips have yielded fruitful results as direct foreign investment has witnessed a steady growth. The international community has also recognized the efforts of Ghanaians, as many foreign dignitaries have visited the country. The high point of such visits was the visit of President Bill Clinton of the United States to the country on 15th March 1998, the first by a serving American president to the country, clearly establishing Ghana's claim as the gateway to Africa. In November 1999, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II of the United Kingdom and her husband Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, also visited Ghana for a 3-day official visit. President Rawlings was for several years the chairman of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, and was very instrumental in bringing peace to the beleaguered and war-torn nations of Liberia and Sierra Leone. He is also the winner of several awards. He was the joint recipient of the 1993 World Hunger Prize. On 25th October 1995, the City University of New York awarded him an honorary doctorate of law in recognition of the president's leadership qualities, which has enabled Ghana to forge ahead in development. The Lincoln University of the United States also bestowed another degree, the honorary degree of Doctor of Diplomacy and Development. This was in recognition of his dedicated service to the people of Ghana and for the economic development and political stability of his country. In December 1996, President Rawlings and his party, the National Democratic Congress, won a second term of office, the first time in the history of the nation that one civilian administration had succeeded another. Democracy had come to stay in Ghana. President Rawlings is a family man. After a long courtship, he married his high school sweetheart, Nana Akufo-Addo Agyeman, in January 1977. President and Mrs. Rawlings have 4 children, Ezaneto, Yasentwa, Amina, and Kimathi, the only boy. Mrs. Rawlings also stands as an icon of social endeavor to Ghanaians, a fitting partner to a great man. Nana Akufo-Addo Agyeman Rawlings was born in November 1948 and is the 3rd child of the late J.O.T. Agyeman, a prominent Ghanaian entrepreneur, and his wife, Mrs. Felicia Agyeman, an educationist. Nana graduated with honors from the University of Science and Technology, Kumasi, in 1972 in graphic design and applied arts after attending one of Ghana's leading high schools, Achimota. Since December 1983, Her Excellency Mrs. Agyeman Rawlings has been the president of the 31st December Women's Movement, a non-governmental organization involved in integrated rural development and social advancement. The movement has grown from humble beginnings to a membership of approximately 2 million, with 10 regional offices and 110 district offices in the country. The 31st December Women's Movement, under Her Excellency, has received wide acclaim in Ghana and internationally for its positive contribution to issues involving women, such as economic emancipation through food production and processing, the building of creches for working women, the lobbying of legislation that defends the interests of women, as well as putting gender issues on the front burner of global decision makers. Towards this end, Her Excellency Nana Agyeman Rawlings was influential in presenting the case for women, enabling the government of Ghana to promulgate an interstate succession law to provide a unitary standard of inheritance that protected women against the different traditional laws that often resulted in penury and suffering for those whose husbands had died intestate. The movement is also credited with success in mobilizing a lot of women to come out to exercise their civic right in all the recent elections. Her Excellency has won several awards. In October 1994, Nana Agyeman Rawlings enrolled in the International Philanthropy Program at the Johns Hopkins University Institute of Policy Studies in Baltimore. In October 1995, the Lincoln University in Pennsylvania awarded Nana Agyeman Rawlings an honorary doctorate degree in social science for exemplary work in championing
Sorry. I'm sorry. I think we lost sound for a minute. I'm just saying, say, history. Yeah, you know, be pointer. You tear history, baby. Me echo. Me a historian, but at least the little we have read about and the little that we have observed, actually say, there's one thing any say nipa bia obojuso say yebekum onyonku nipa. It does not matter boni a nipa ne di. Anything na obi bia your friend will say I was say emra ema wo ho kwan mpo ansa na se nipa bia ku nipa wotuma agene kra. Enti ansa na beji nipa nkwa no I was so making sure say eye emra sebio ebo wo ho ban ebo bebia wo no ho ban ama wo ho kwan eno krampo no enye obi a netumi kwa abontene ka se emra ma me ho kwan tim koku asemesi eye sebio omo a eye emra na mo mutumi se nipa we de yebu no de kumfo na ebia emra so a yebeku no. Enti as I sit here, I don't condone any form of violence, assault, murdering a judge, a teacher, a lawyer, a human being. In fact, this case repeats itself because yehu omwa asem we to omo say omo judges. And we all know in the past how Ghanaians revered judges. How we saw judges as just people. And we say just nipa na sebio omo di no kore. Irrespective of nipa omo gina monim no, yehu san konfo no say no omo ka no kore. Enti the murdering of human beings, I am not too concerned as omo judge for. My worry is omo ye nipa and a nipa bi ku omo no. I will never condone it on my platform. Enti we speak against that act. We are against that act. But we also need to be asking questions. What will make an individual get up one day? Ebe sorry anopa say, judge way, bebe se mi kuno. Judge for me ensa way, e wo se mi ku omo. I don't think say, and the menoka say, obi betuma sorry anopa aka say, judge way there, bebe se mi ku omo. There should be a reason. There should be a reason where Obiba Sorano Paka say, Judge for me Breomo Ghana, Miensa way paddy, I was send there anagi, Mikuomo, and I Kuomo. There should be a reason for that. And remember, we keep talking about coup. We keep talking about the 1982 coup. We na PNDC for na waso ena ema coup ni baye ena nipa bi ekoku judge for no enti it's a conversation about the murdering of these judges. We always try to hang it on the government of the day because yesina coup ho why na di coup denim yesina ye JJ Rollins mo ena PNDC for enti sa coup no yemfa nhye PNDC for kon. We get it. But the story has been told every time. Yatifiti in one side. And it's an able a simple question say, as some see and I at Toyanchem, some Cassia in BBC. But the question here is, Judge of one as some two omono, how clean were they? Were they judges that we could trust? Were they judges that were not corrupt? Were they judges that were doing their jobs that they were not actually using the power they had to suppress people or to even take lives indirectly? These are questions we have refused to ask. And I think it's about time we are starting with our questions about the death of these judges and the people who died, judges, almost character, almost su. Edien panti na bema nipa bia sorry say judge for me breba omo Ghana I was say judge for me nsa we dey yiku omo ene sa soja ni ba ko ka ho den na bema nipa bia yesa because me sure say 1982 we did not have only 3 judges in Ghana. There were so many judges in Ghana. So the question is, why would they decide to say let's pick out only these judges and kill them? When people talk about coup has been with us for years. When coup does not favor you, you sit back and you criticize people coup in favor. Now, or coup favor, I can tell you on authority, without the coup say see or Ghana, and the last coup that happened in 1982, Sanka Ensia Anka today, we will not be sitting here talking about the development of Ghana. It's a fact. Without the 1978 coup, any the previous coups, this country wouldn't have found itself in a democratic state in 1992. In the 1982 coup, whether you like it or not, or whether I like it or not, the 1982 coup, no, it was very crucial to this country called Ghana, because the turning point in our history. That is the coup that directed us towards democracy. Because sa coup na ma, I don't think say we as a nation, we will be a democratic nation by now. Because at that point, there was nothing showing say we were going to move towards a democratic state. And see, whether you like it or not, the 1982 coup, it was a turning point in our history. And let me tell you, whether you like it or not, coup comes with its own effect. There's obianwa wato TV or dashem pass it. Obianwa why jollof or the kwashe edian ebuom. There is a reason why coup see and coup see. Some people are going to be affected. Some people aren't going to be affected. That is how it works. When you even go back in our history, even in our tradition, there's been coups. Today, your oncophobia omuka coups I see during a time and ye kuro no kura soja ban ba ya bibia friend government in ba time and sebio in clans tribes. There were coups happening. And Emino say ye were in town. Any nipakuo bi Ghana and the coups a omo ye no tetetete no omo di edi bom ho samrane ne tetene yetumi tena ho yase ekuo wei omo kotusha ekuo wei so ena omo kɔgye omo asase ena omo bu omo ena omo ne omo konye ena denkyirafo kɔ aha ena asantefo kɔ hia denkyira ena denkyirafo kɔ kun wei mu ena omo kɔgye asase ena asante de omo so ena asante kɔ aha ena asante kɔ kun wei mu ena ɔgye asase wei kan ho ena mankesimfo ena mfantefo omo so kɔ pie ha. It has always been about people taking advantage of people, and that coup na ye kan de bia no, when it is against you, you see it as something that is bad. But I can say, your tribes were Ghana and the Omobomwa for hine, all because in the past, Omunananum went into somebody's land, tried to change the system there. Tamana yananum to shanko for Nkroso, Tamana ahemfo, any ahemfo kon, clan, any clan ekon, tribe, any tribe ekono, Sambreno, and Kofo ne to show mosono, no musu krono, no more ma, omunyimu, omuye. Says Sebio asantefo eko to she eyedien eko to she ekuro bi so na sa asantefo eko defeat kuro na e wo so ti ase se eye ekuro na omko to she omoso no eye apemfo wom sa ekuro no enkwara wom sa ku na asantefo eye ana awonafo eye ana sremufo bi eye ana achimfo bi eye no sa ekuro na omko to she so no ye won kofo ma omoso ho kan ye ebesi ne eni so mo refi. And you need to understand, say, coup coup na yehuno during the military time, no, it is not different from coup na yehuno time na ahemfubi any ahemfubi kwa ye jin kwofo nsase ye jin kwofo yerenom ye jin kwofo krunum ye din kwofo dani slaves emombesom ahemfubi the same thing, just that coup has changed over the years. Unless you don't understand what I'm talking about, coup na teteno yede kontokwa inte ekuo bi ho motewo omo ho ana eye ekuo bi atoahye omo so intende enton ayebo tribe ya join yede sanyom ne hoahoa ye ho o wunim ye ne mfantefo ye to hye we mu so tama no mo agona ene ekogye omo kuro no tama mo to hye omo so na mo koye ku to hye omo so no. What happened was apemfo na omo ho ayarefo na omo ho sebio ekuro na mutim no ne wo mpenifo mu di asem in that era ne from judges sankofo ni nyina omo wuye. So at that point no adena ende ugina ha edebo ho samra hene no wonana eyebi de wonana ye no ene ende wode ebo ho samra hene. Enti when you look at coup, na so who coup as coup, when it does not benefit you, you start to scream. And I'm not saying say coup na see before or after. I'm trying to let you understand, say, it actually changed over time. It actually changed color. It now became more advanced. It now became the book down into 81. The see PNDC by 1982. It is not different from in Tokona na Asia na Yatoshanko Fosso. Some coups can be done from within, and some coups can be done from outside. Yeah, in 19 1978. The coup yedi to a champion, it was coup within. Eye omwangasa na omuni a champion nam no oma na ye coup no to a champion di general kufu besi so. So it is not always coming from outside. Some things can happen from inside and it can create that chaos. It is a uti coup mema nya adefoforo bi, it has been there. Now when you move all the way to 1982, right before PNDC ebe taking over, you have the right to say Sebio on PNDC now. You have all the right to change or link the PNDC to the coup because it will make you feel better. Because why Jinimuno Sebio na una nabi that time no did not benefit from what happened. Ebia na unuebi did not benefit from what happened. Ebia na opapebi a judge. You did not benefit from such change in the direction of the nation. Until you have every right to speak about it. But the question here is, we need to be asking questions. Because before 1981 coup the murdering of these judges about 1982 no, there were several coups, about 3 coups in 1966. Kotoka, Efrifa, and Ankara. Omuye coup. People died. Some people were shot. Some people lost relatives. Some people became casualties. Some people at the end of the day ended up in a crossfire. Some people lost relatives. Even that coup nukrampono, before and after no, there are people who can tell you stories of things they went through. 1966 coup. Now, 66 coup no normally two Kwame Nkrumah. Your onkophobia omoshire omo papa nom. Your onkophobia omoshire omo busuafo. Your onkophobia sa asem ni si no. Sebio almost who can. But hey, those people are not mentioned today because ebia no papa anya judge. Ebia no mama anya teacher. Ebia na omo busuani nya influential. So those people were kept in the dark. Now when it comes to 1972, Sakuna etu eye buziano, omom yeku eye echampo betu buziano, people also were caught in the crossfire. There were people who also lost relatives. Maybe no munya judge for. Maybe not among known people. Maybe they didn't have the backing judge for me in some way, no more until we did not hear about it. I am not justifying murders. I'm not justifying killings during coup. I am not justifying say so be a coup be and I will be losing life during a coup. And I say, yeah, coup, it should be justified. I am not justifying that. I am letting you understand the situation. We need to start asking questions before people turn this thing into a national funeral whereby every year they will serve funeral invites and wear red tie and come and do comedy on TV for it to look like, say, this is the end of the world. This is not the end of the world. The killing of the 3 judges, BB, and of course the death of the judges. And we as a people, we need to start asking questions because there are casualties of war every time. But we need to also face the truth and start asking questions. There are casualties of war. There are people who find themselves in the middle of issues like this, where at the end of the day, you cannot find people who even committed a crime. Now we come to 1978, internal coup. Senya omutu e champon Eddie Edian ekufubaye. It was part of it. And about 1979, J.J. Rawlings also popped up. 1978, nipa ho kan o Ghana. Nipa bi wuye. Ebia omo mu wuye no. Na omo busuafo omo ni dibre to say judge for miensa we. 1979, people died. Maybe omo mu wuye no. Na omo ni Edian. Omo ni that position. Judge for we are omo wuye na ewo. We come to 1981. We saw the killing of these judges. So every single time there's been change in a direction of our nation, people are caught in the middle. There are war casualties every single day. Now, what makes this story so unique? Right now, there are people in Ghana who want to make it like it is the burden of every Ghanaian at the end of the day to say, some people are supposed to be seen as evil to the end of the world. But those people have refused to ask questions that are relevant. The question we are asking today is simple. The question is, judge for me in some way, judge for me in some way, what will make someone just get up and say, I'm going to murder these 3 judges? Dear Bema Ubia, sorry, say, Judge for Bebria, Omo Ghani, saa miensa we pa any soja ni bi de yebekuo mo ahye omo. That should be the thing that worries us. Eno na wo se eya ade a we are Ghana ni na wo hweme a na amanfo begina TV so ka se ena asem we see here ena ku judge for miensa. With all due respect, omo we during the 3 coups see here no judge for we nchen omo. They are all humans, they are all Ghanaians. So be a judge with all due respect, and I keep saying but we need to speak on it, because a better point to be a say anytime this issue comes up and we are relevant. Obi say come Japan, they be no better TV so on yakuni papa. With all due respect, some losing papa be me. But the issue here is this is not the first time anything like this is happening. And the question is, what did they do? A day pa no mo ye ya nipa bit kotwe o ma say ye ko bu o mo ku o mo asa o ma say, then it means they might have done something. They might have done something that some people felt they needed to be punished. Maybe the way they punished them was wrong. Maybe the way they went by it was wrong. Maybe they were not supposed to do it that way. But have you asked yourself, the actions of these judges who died that day, have you asked yourself what their actions maybe did to some people we didn't know? Because I don't think anyone can come out and tell me these judges were angels. Time and I me bought JJ documentary natural no. Time at JJ bar 79. Otam to me edema a year Liman. Something made JJ Rollins come back again in 81. And the reason was that na Odjene say or the two minimal Liman no a year they're vulnerable. The people down there, Liman Muno Mosrono, they will bring the people along. Corruption and essay krona. People in authority were taking advantage of that power. People in authority were conniving to make sure those down there, they take their livelihood from them. They take their lives from them. No, JJ thought to say, Anka Liman be take that thing out. But when he went back and sat behind, he saw say the country had gotten to a point where that particular thing, a man year 79 kuno, that thing had not been achieved. Now, why did he come back to do another coup? Then it means that nani pebu system ni mukuta tumia, they were abusing that power. Those people were hiding behind power. It could be government officials, it could be judges, it could be people we are giving authority to make sure the law works. You know, they might have been, or maybe they were abusing that office. So it forced JJ Rollins to come back to take that power. Now, let's take a step back. If 78, 79, 80, if a judge was abusing their office, 79, 80, 81, na se judge be the to me share in sa and all this to me no den edi bonia. Have you thought of the people that judge in the era of Liman, because we could not hold on to power to make sure say people we have given authority to could use the power to benefit the people, instead using the power to benefit them? Have you asked yourself, sir, action by some of those people, no, the people who are affected, did you ask yourself what those people went through? I am asking this question because some people today in Ghana, they want us to think, say, Judge Fowe, they were angels. Who come to Japan or better TV so? Oh, na me papa didi. It means the dad was living well. Near Tifia or Bangalore na near didi. That means the same time there were people down there who were not even getting the opportunity to have a square meal with their father. This was an era where people were even struggling to get jobs. This was an era where the country, Kalabule, had taken over. This was the era where people who had power were abusing the power. I'm not saying Kobe Japan's father is corrupt or was corrupt, but I'm trying to let you know. So on your narration now, you could see, say, those judges and those people we saw as powerful, no, the gap between them and the people, no, was wide. What was creating that? It was corruption. People were abusing that power. So remember, say oji to me free pansem. Now the 2 minutes nipana. Remember one day when the person gets to know you don't have that power again, they will come back. They will come after you. And anything I make catch will say, some people want us to believe, say, Judge Fowe time in their career, they were angels. They never committed any crime. From the beginning of this show, I've said, I would never condone murdering another human being. I would never do that. The act was wrong and should be condemned anytime. But we also need to be asking questions. We also need to be asking questions, because if you don't ask the questions, some people will force this narrative on us. To say, Judge Fowe, you conform free heaven, you don't be Ghana. So, song. But something actually forced JJ Rawlings to come back in 81 to do another coup. What was that? The thing that forced JJ Rawlings to come do another coup was because some people who had the power to decide the destiny of some other Ghanaians who did not yield that power, they were abusing that office. And maybe these judges, that was what they were doing. Until Japan, every time Biano betina TV so, and you bet me papa, and you kukuno, Japan portrays everything, and people who are in support of these judges, they make it look like Judge Fowe, in their duty, they never stepped on any toe. And I'm not saying say Judge Bikra Ebu in 10, now we mbu 10 year also be fetch kukuno. I would never admit to that. I would never agree to that. But I'm also making you understand, because here can history. Something happened, the consequences in the history, no. So bibi and sia history number until we need to find out what really happened for history to today be telling us to say you could judge for me and sebi. Some action might have happened. Until we the young ones, when we see this story every day and people are sitting on TV crying and making it look like a group of people came to murder my father, kill somebody. The question here is, there were so many judges in Ghana. There were so many high court judges. There were so many tribunals. Why these 3 judges? Because we cannot keep doing this thing of every year biano nani pe bia ba portray bibi to say yay monko time group bi monko time JJ Rawlings group monko time NDC phobia. When you look at even what happened after this incident happened, the MPNDC, they forced an investigations into the matter. If people are even going to say there was one PNDC person in and a Saudi the question here is, investigations, what happened? Those people who were involved in the action, at the end of the day, they were all dealt with. And one part of the story, so I yanka. Omomudi is abono, yeti omu nyina no, sa emrana ewa asase no so no, ene sa nkofo no edili. Sometimes mama yamfa emotions ne nto nchen. Mama yamfa nkofo bi way of trying to narrate a story to instill that story in our heads. And nchen, we all feel bad. Say kan papa kan wan kabe me ya. Say kan bebusuani kan wan kabe me ya. But let's look at the reality here. Let's put aside our emotions. Let's put aside maybe a political party we are affiliated to. Let's look at the issues, what actually brought us here. Now, when investigations were open, in the investigations, they came to that conclusion, say, Nipa be and Naya Omudi Sajmo say Numuno, Sanko for Yambu Omukunfo. And those people they were all at the end of the day incarcerated. So the question here is, one, Asamne Sieno, Omomudi Bonana, Yetiomo, and Ameboa. Now let's come back to Diana Judges for ya, everyman call for we. I then it decided say you bet you masi masi. It brings us to a year today. A year Tokonu, a year our judges, a year Ghana Nayetino. Now you see this. Today, Amanphobia Margin say they are going to force a narrative on Ghanaians. Because to them, something they have to be seen as different human beings than ordinary Ghanaian. And they'll call your friend be the law platform. Omako posti a video. 1982. Judge Fobi Wuye. Now, every single year, every year you see Kobene Japan. Every year you see some group of people. They have made this their life because they want to force a narrative and make it look like, say, Judge Fowe, omumiti this untimely death, they were sent from heaven. But I can tell you in authority, these judges who were killed, they were not as clean as you and I think. as you have been made to believe. Comrade Japan also did 15 years, sir. When his father was in law court or his chambers, Comrade Japan was not there. The kind of conversations his dad had with other big people, Comrade Japan wasn't there. The only time Comrade Japan get to talk to his father is when they are eating at home. And I don't think if Comrade Japan's father is having some conversations that are sensitive as a judge, he would tell Comrade Japan that these are the conversations I'm having with some group of people. No. The people who are even the agents of the story, propagating this story to make it look like JJ Rollins group, they are not even the right people to be telling the story. They are people who are affiliated to the people who got in the middle of the action. But when it comes to the real issues, they are putting their emotions ahead of the facts. The facts are simple. Why would anybody decide to go kill a judge? From 1992, ebesinde obian sorry you say judge bi me kwa kokuna no. Why? Why haven't people come together to say judge ba ku mienu miense bi de me kochioma ni akochioma kukuomo? There should be a reason why that happened. And I've told you, enya ku bia na ya adwiniboni ku. Ku na start tete ansa na yebeye ku se ba 60s no. Sa ku sa ya hemfo eye no. They also went into people's land. People were casualties of war. People were in the middle of the crossfire. So we are not supposed to make it look like say judge for me and so we are. Every year we are being disturbed. Say, hey, judge for way, because there are some people in Ghana. My idea nyina say project story we are. It makes some people hate the NDC. It's not working. It's not going to work. Judge ni no wu 1982 no. Police ni bisu wu 1982. Teacher ni bisu wu 1982. Soldier ni bisu wu 1982. Your nurse ni wu 1982. In the middle of that, in that era, they all deserve the same kind of attention. These judges are not bigger, with all due respect, than our history. And we cannot make these judges their death, which we have refused to ask questions, decide we moving forward as a nation. When it comes to the United States of America, the American Civil War, ever seen there, and the America they don't even pay attention to it. It is not something they dwell on every day. The Americans have a dark history than even us. The Americans have history that they can actually brief and go down to the bottom for you to know the fact than us Ghanaians. Our history, majority of our history has different shapes. Even in America, the American Civil War, today Americans have moved forward. They know it happened. It is not every day that they are dwelling on it. In Ghana, some people are dwelling on this because it makes their political ambitions, it makes their political parties, it makes their affiliation to a political party more acceptable. It justifies the reason why they don't want another political party like the NDC in Ghana. So people are using this. Your Uncle Fubo Ghana, they want to hide behind this to make MPP look as the only legitimate political party in Ghana. But let me tell you for a fact, I feel bad for this. Judges who were killed, I don't like it. I hate it. But this should not decide our democracy. People are hiding behind the death of these three judges. The death of these three judges. We want them to come and tell us, do they think that anyone will just get up any day and kill a judge in Ghana? I don't trust that these judges were legitimate. These judges were doing something that was not right. No mu dibone. The man JJ Rawlings, any Ghana for who say it was 1981, it was a direction. It was because people like these judges and their friends in power were abusing that power. And the pain that some people received from the abuse that they meted on them is the results they got is from that. So I don't see these judges as any humans are almost free heaven. They are not angels. These are people who basically paid for what they might have done in the past. Near to Kromha for years. We all believe to say, judge for there, they are comfortable. Judge for there, omindi boni. Judge for there, they are just. We were here na nas year, or a whole investigations. Judges were taking yam, sheep. Judge Forge Bayere to decide the fate of a man in Ghana. Judges were taken as low as 2,000 Ghana to decide the destiny of a fellow man. And this same way enche you near Okrumha and a judge for Jim Ponchi to decide the destiny of a fellow man in court. What shows to say these judges were not doing worse during that time where power was for a few people. What shows to say these people were not involved in any kind of corruption. Why do you think that these people, they were not even involved in some cases that decided people's life? They were not supposed to, at the end of the day, end the case or pronounce those kind of judgments. Let's start asking questions. This story has been one way. The traffic has been showing one direction. We need to be questioning these people. We need to be questioning why some people will get up and all the judges in Ghana, they will choose to say, Mummy and Sadi Ebekumashimase. There's some reason for that. Because, and a judge for and the young person say, these judges, we saw all these things in Ghana. Judge for no ebini.
It was the Republic versus Kwame Jato, a suspect in a narcotics case. We told Mayor we were intervening on behalf of the accused who was about to be sentenced. Mayor agreed to help. In the judge's house, things happened swiftly. Mayor introduced us, handed over the money to the judge in a brown envelope, and the judge gave us assurance that he will act on our request. It was clear that Mayor did not want us to talk about money with the judge. This could be because he wanted us to avoid any mention of the faceless state attorney that he was supposedly giving the other 5,000 cedis to.
Would that be the judge? I've never seen him before.
To find out the truth, we decided to go back to the judge. This time, without Mayor. We took along a ram, a symbolic gesture of appreciation for his promises and assurance. To our mild disappointment, the judge said he preferred a goat to a ram.
This morning I asked my wife to look for somebody to get to Tulaku to buy me a goat.
But my lord, if you want, I'll bring a goat too.
I gave you some money.
He took 6,000.
The judge was shocked at Mayor's behavior.
And later on, he came and told me that he talked that you say you don't have money, so what you could get was 5,000. What have you done that
you collect those money? Okay, thank you.
So what about that? So will you come in the morning or evening time?
I'll come in the evening.
Okay.
Days later, we took the goat, Justice Peter Derry's preferred gift, along with the remaining balance.
The balance is 1,000. This is the first. But is he going to set free?
Yeah, no,
It all worked in favor of Kwame Jato, the man standing trial for narcotics. Our checks with the Attorney General's department shows that the man was freed. You bet the true price of justice in these parts. After some months, we identified a rape case considered as one of the criminal and punishable offenses under Ghana's criminal code. We then identified Charles, a driver to the judge, also known as a middleman in the sale of justice. A few days later, he called to say the judge was willing to see us on only one non-negotiable condition: a payment of 2,000 Ghana cedis. The driver led us to the judge, who took the 2,000 Ghana cedis from us, being representatives of the criminal suspect.
Well, you are welcome. Thank you, sir. Why have you come? The King's executed you. Okay.
Yes.
10
months.
That's all what I will ask him.
Okay, my lord.
This can't be greeted for you for opposite.
Oh,
no,
my lord.
Don't worry, my lord. But I beg you, sit down. Sit down. What's your name?
I'm Idris Ishmael.
Please. You know our work, these things are very dangerous.
Yes, sir.
So you are 2, and I'm
3.
Yeah, 3. Please let these things remain in this room.
Okay, my lord.
The suspect was acquitted and discharged.
My lord. Thank you very much.
Mami Sewa. Then you can.
Okay, thank you. So, thank you, my lord.
And when he says it, I'm out.
After negotiation, 13,000 was agreed on to be paid to Justice Ajetunasam. It was a tricky situation before meeting the judge.
Human rights the way I offer from the government, the name is
Justice Ajetunasam, on accepting the money, told Tiger to bring the rest of the 2,000 Ghana cedis balance and to also come with Bernard Salah, who was at large, so that they would know what to do in order to first of all reverse the warrant on his head and to finally pass a judgment in his favor.
I even told him that he has to bring Bernard Salah. Because his face is a lot of people. So you have to get Bernard Salah.
Okay. Okay, my lord.
What you can do is that on the 7th of October, you bring him here. Then I'll make the entrance. Before the real date. Yeah.
Okay, my lord.
So maybe by 10 o'clock, you bring him here.
Okay, my lord.
So you pass by my place, I'll bring the record book. The same record book. No, we can even use the record.
Okay, my lord. Okay.
But since you said 10, it should be
10. Yes, my lord. We will really do that. Okay. Thank you very much, my lord, for it.
Poised to collect the rest of his money, Justice Ajetunasam called us for a meeting to give him his balance. We deliberately gave him 1,000 cedis to prolong our encounter with him. He met us at Zongo Junction in Accra to collect it.
My lord.
What? You make it suffer.
It's from the letter. You know this issue. Sure, he will be coming next week.
Next week, okay. Well, I believe that there will not be any. This big bag you are carrying.
Because I just have to.
Robin, why not?
For the remaining 1,000 Ghana cedis, we had to go to his house and pay, this time with a male goat. Weeks later, we got information that Justice Ajetunasam had been assigned by the Chief Justice to the Cocoa Affairs Court building. His clerk took his share, and there was Justice Ajetunasam taking his share and putting it under his table. He threw out the contempt case. then set a date to meet the judge. Our rendezvous point was the Accra Mall. The judge showed up with his bodyguard to pick his part of the booty, but asked the bodyguard to excuse him before taking the bribe money from us. He then appeared offended that the money wasn't in an envelope.
Sorry.
No, my friend.
I was.
How can you? The man is not.
Oh, sorry. It's okay.
Next time you package it well.
No. Next time I won't not allow you this.
It's not the best. Next time. I even had seen you earlier on.
You. The phone is yours.
To appease him, Gabriel suggested we top it up with a gift of a male goat. We delivered that, but he was not at home.
So your auntie give you something for small fuel?
Yes. How for you there? He says Thursday.
Gabriel called him on phone to tell him what we brought.
You know that you got. All right. Bye.
Now that we knew his house, we could go back to meet with him. So we did just that, with another goat bought from Burkina Faso. We contacted Madam Peace, who we found to be a strongest link for reaching the judge.
Elderly people say
you can't go empty-handed.
So now the ball is in your court.
When we asked how much the judge would need to carry out injustice in favor of the murderer, she said,
You need help. So if it's you who come out and maybe you say this.
What about 2,500? Yours is nothing. Yours there will treat you special after the help is done.
I will inform him.
Okay.
Don't remove anything here. Can I get the rubber? Okay, you give it to me.
We decided to make part payments to her in order to sustain her interest.
When would I meet you again?
I will be going to see him.
Okay.
And then tell him your assurance, and then I'll call you and then bring you the money.
Okay.
By our next meeting, we had organized the money, and after court proceedings one day, we handed it to the judge in his chambers by placing it on his table. He grabbed it swiftly and threw it into his desk drawer.
So he will be free, my love.
Well, for now, yeah. Okay, so that is the
Peace also got her balance. About a month later, John Broby was freed.
These were judges, you and I. Say Shamo baby anase sebio asama tuomo na say yakase obia kodi omowu we will all get out on the street and say, why did the person do that? Say during 2024 and now during 2017 MPP also and a judge for we ubikochi bi kuomo we would all have risen up to say MPP are buying MPP judge for be yomajuma enti ena oma fa kwan bi so me akukuomo. So some way see in 2025 under NDC, we will all rise up and say NDC banning per se judge for we be yomajuma enti no makukuomo. That is why the 1982 aseme see and me catch them say we are not supposed to listen to one side. Because judges now 1982 yekuomo no, I don't think they are different from these judges. They are Ghanaians. And I don't think anyone can tell me, say, Omoya judge no, Omo ndi bonida. I want the GBA to bring their case docket. Judge for me and some way cases omo tinaso. Omo ko omo files no omo publishing in any reading here. You will see what will happen in Ghana. These three judges. Judge for me and some way. Ghana Bar Association. they should disclassify all documents or case or na ye ready. Now you understand why these judges were murdered. I will never support the murdering of a fellow man, whether a judge or a teacher. I will never sit here and condone that. But question no, direction no, I have one way to do. I have one direction to do. It looks like say some people are trying to portray these judges and say, Omunya boneda. I just say Omanya bibia, but something might have happened. Something might have happened because then you munkwani judge for more Ghana. It's when the Ghana Bar Association, led by Joe Gatte's wife, when the Ghana Bar Association, led by Joe Gatte's wife, now say omo person omo the side way politics are. You ask them so omo credibility way. It makes this woman a mad woman because the Ghana Bar Association here omo take Ghana no. So omo person omo prove you wrong. Na ye judge for way. Edi omo example say omo ye legitimate omo ndi bone da. Cases are judges waiting us. Omo for ni nambrani and kind. I want Ghana for be the kind of judges we are dealing with. Those 3 judges who were murdered. Let's go back into the archives and pick all the cases they sat on. You will see the kind of judgments. Are these judges? Ghana. And I'm not saying say they are guilty. I'm saying say we should also open that Pandora box. We should also open that kind of worms. We should also check these judges, their background prior to 1982. We will see why the 1982 murders happened here. It is a study Tokonua. There's something that Tokonu did. Tokonu deliberately waited. The first time I Tokonu na just Obeko Supreme Court ako challenge this process the suspension of her from the Supreme Court. She directed her lawyers to go to the Supreme Court directly. Why he said this time Tokonu wants to go to the High Court, she had to come stand on TV and use Edu's Lodge as her talking point because na onim say day way ba. She wanted to play into this. She was doing politics. These people had directed her to do that. Senebeya, they can use those sound bites to make a case for Tokonu. Now, you see, I keep telling Ghanaians, Asamna AC 1982. Now, and the Nipebi Ediaye meter every single time they want to look relevant. They want to make Ghana think, say, the NDC is a bad party. The MPP should be a party. Sa Asamna AC and Ama judges be ende, especially somebody like Tokonu, feels say, we don't have the right to even question her conduct in court. That is why people like the GBA boss, these people without credibility, these criminals who stand on platforms to pretend as if Omunya Bonedano. That is why these people today, they want us to believe, say, Madam Tokonu, we don't have the right to even question her ethics, whether she has done something wrong or not. We as a people, we cannot even rely on the constitution to question Tokonu's her work and her behavior as the Chief Justice. From 1982, as we see, some people in Ghana, they have deliberately decided, say, they will use that matter to shield corrupt judges in Ghana. Every time be a judge for us, Ube Rezi, so Okan Wasem no. Yes, hey, Monkai, 1982, judge for be chire. And now this 1982 murders, Eddie Diboni or Ghana. And that is the advantage Tokonu wants to take. And it's a Tokonu train, 1 year press conference in his first court appearance to the Supreme Court. But going to the High Court, she came to stand on national television to tell you and I that she is going to the High Court. Why didn't she direct her lawyers to release a statement? But deliberately, these people, Ifwagati, and in the group of corrupt lawyers, told Tokonu that this day is coming. Play your case in it. They cooked this. Now, Mutie Tokonu, when she was speaking, the day in our press conference, we did not pay attention to some things that Tokonu said. We never knew that the retired military man, what's his name? Edu Lodge, the retired military man na yekuno. Nobody in Ghana knew, say, sa military officer na yekuno na Tokonu uncle. Now, for Tokonu to come on national television to tell us, say, that location, which the man wasn't murdered. Remember, Sa Edu Lodge hono no, enye ho ne kuman no. Sa Edu Lodge hono, it was a place almost nkofo bi emiti in that vicinity. So Tokonu uncle na obegina TV so say Sa Edu Lodge dine e kind ne uncle no. The uncle wasn't murdered in that house. But you see, Tokonu gave you some clues bia yan shouldn't pay attention. There was a reason why Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo jumping senior judges. Et say Puaman, et say Bafu Bonimo, especially et say Bafu Bonia Okofa Tokonu. The reason is that Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo needed somebody who was better. And the Tokonu made us know, say, all these years, some people who belong to the so-called PNDC era, they murdered her uncle. So all these years, she has been better to take revenge. It is all teen stories now. She was dwelling more on the murder of her uncle. It wasn't about Onona Semno. It is all check here. Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo took his time to find somebody who had so much hatred for the NDC to jump her, a lower court judge, to jump her over the judges who were ripe to be chief justice, to make her chief justice. Into Ononobe chief justice, it was a revenge position. It wasn't to uphold the law. Into from Onone's statement, you could hear say she is pained from the past. She has some group of people she has never liked. She has always never wanted the NDC to take any front role in our democratic dispensation. In this whole I was very young and they killed my uncle. So it has always been bitterness from day one. And on the occupy the position as a chief justice. Into stadia time omoko parliamentar nanka was say or making sure say NPP MPs no omoyeden omujai omu seat na NDC by majority she's instantly said no. Because you see, from day one, that same day she gave him a court case date because she has never liked the NDC. She had an agenda. Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo saw it in her and gave her the green light. So Tokonu basically came to do the job Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo and his group had wanted to do for years. So she has been bitter from day one. From that statement now, Omeki, that day, I'm okay. So it means for a very long time you have harbored this in your heart. That means as a judge, anything related to PNDC, it's going to piss you off. You are going to do everything possible to nullify whether it's an individual or even a group. Since she occupied that office as the Chief Justice, it has been her against the PNDC, which the NDC came out of. Because they said the people who committed the murder, there was one person who had connections to the PNDC. So we see Tokonu press conference now. Tokonu was telling you, I've been bitter for long. I have my agenda. Akufo-Addo, because he had a calculated plan, he picked this lady. He looked at her past. He knew that this woman was bitter. He knew when he puts this woman there, the woman was going to deliver. And when Akufo-Addo put Tokonu at the Supreme Court as the Chief Justice, every single thing about democracy turned upside down. We didn't even know we were Ghanaians again. Our passport wasn't even valid again. Our birth certificate wasn't even valid. People broke the law. They went to the Supreme Court. She decided who should be prosecuted and who isn't. So, who shouldn't. So, Tokonu from day one, on one press conference, or Chiramo said, she has been bitter for long. She has been in pain for long. She has always wanted a position. She has always wanted to be in that position to make sure that anybody related or linked to the PNDC, she would never make the person happy. So when Tokonu became Chief Justice, even in election 2020 ruling hearing, you saw her body language. That time, Enini Yeboah was the Chief Justice, but it was like Tokonu who had taken over the case. She took over the case because it was the bitterness in her heart. She had something to accomplish. And she being so silly, she did not take her time. She came out to tell us what she had been harboring in her heart for years upon years. And I keep asking, the reason why Tokonu and his group of some judges feel that they cannot be touched, they cannot be questioned, we cannot even use the constitution to ask them questions, it is because they always feel, Sa Assembly AC 1982 no, the NPP as a political party no, they have tried everything possible to use that to shield some judges who are corrupt. Anytime people say judge for na eku omo no, any sa sojani no, were they the only judges in Ghana? Prior to their murdering, the cases they sat on, do you think something happened? Did they do things with the power they had? Because when you go back into history, there was a reason why J.J. Rawlings came back in 1981.
But today, Jerry Rawlings is unemployed. He was sacked from the forces by the civilian government to which he handed over power. He now lives in a small flat with his wife, a designer, and spends his time driving round on his motorbike, trying to keep alive the ideals of his June the 4th revolution.
What sort of a society are we trying to create here in Ghana?
Shall we call it a balanced society in every respect? You know, where everybody's potential will be acknowledged. I mean, where we'll have, let's put it this way, a dignified society, you know, where justice will be seen to. And generally speaking, a more equitable distribution of the country's wealth, you see. The recognition of the creative talent within us that's been lying dormant, consciously or unconsciously being suppressed. You know?
And now, a year later, of the handover to civilian rule, how does the country measure up to those original ideals?
As far as the prices of food items are concerned, it's shot up again, you know. It's even worse than it was before we came in. But what I'm more concerned about is what appears to be an attempt to restore the pre-June 4th order. And it's going to create a lot of problems. It's almost like an attempt to re-cage the people, you know, to stop them from trying to assert themselves as a result of the awareness that has come about as a result of June 4th.
The main aim of Jerry Rawlings and the AFRC was to stamp out kalabule, an all too common Ghanaian word for profiteering, racketeering and corruption. Market women were accused of hoarding food in order to force up black market prices. Kalabule was checked for a time, but not for long. The new civilian government has only been in power for 9 months, but inflation is around 100% and food is being sold at well over recommended prices. At this market in Accra, the market women were asking 4 cedis, about 75p or the lowest minimum day's wage, for a few tomatoes or a bunch of bananas. A small bag of rice was going for 600 cedis, compared to the recommended price of 120. A tin of milk was going for 5 cedis instead of 0.75, and sardines for 8 instead of 1.6. And this in a country where the average wage is 200 cedis, just over £30 a month. The result, inevitably, has been a demand for wage increases and strikes. Workers from Gihawk, Ghana's biggest state holding company, are striking over the government not approving their 15% pay rise and the fact that only managers are being given an extra cost of living allowance. They are angry, but by British standards, not exactly militant. They lobbied Parliament, and there was trouble when hungry workers grabbed for the MPs' breakfasts. The government reaction was to sack all 8,000 Gihawk workers and tell them to reapply. So they blame their poverty on the government. How tough has life been for your workers then?
Oh, terrible. Because honestly speaking, some of them even take water as their breakfast.
They just have water for breakfast.
That's right.
What is your reaction then to the civilian government? You were promised that there would be no more corruption, that they would continue the good work of the AFRC.
Yeah.
Do you agree that the AFRC were doing good work?
Yeah, we agree with the AFRC.
So what is your reaction now to what's going on?
No, our reaction is simply disappointment. We are only disappointed, that's all.
A world away from the calm diplomacy of the castle, the president's predecessor goes visiting. Rawlings has refused to leave the country for an easy life on training courses, safely out of the way, like other members of his AFRC. He has stayed on, a man without a party, but determined to keep alive the ideals of June the 4th. When he visits a village outside Accra, he tries to enthuse the people to help themselves.
What about the cement for the pig story we're trying to do?
It was only today that they said we should come, but during your time, it was approved. But later on, after you left the scene, I mean, things have gone back again.
Rawlings says he offered his services to the new government as troubleshooter on agricultural problems, his current concern. He's frustrated and angry that they declined to make use of the enormous influence he still has in the country.
They were frightened of you that you might build up some sort of power base from your work in the agricultural sector?
Yes, I know. This is what they kept on complaining about, of course, behind my back, you know. And, of course, these are little indications as to, you know, their choice of priorities or what they see. They're paranoid. It's an expression of their paranoia about me. But even if I'm supposed to be enjoying this kind of respect or fame with the people, let's at least put it to some use, you understand? I'm not asking to be an agricultural minister or anything like this. You can keep me in the forces, but, I mean, detach me to mobilize the people all over the place. I mean, they say a hungry man is an angry man. The least you and I can do is to do something about their stomachs, you know? And you don't seem to see the priority. Now it's catching up with them.
Is it just straight mismanagement, then, you're saying, from the government side?
I don't think it's just a question of mismanagement. Even if it is, there are a whole lot of other factors too. I mean, human factors. The lack of appreciation of the dominant group or the people who are supposedly holding those offices, you know. Not appreciating, you know, the problems of the common man, the worker, the ordinary man, you see. And as a matter of fact, this is where I spend a lot of time trying to infuse, you know, the new mood into the man. And somehow or the other, it doesn't seem to have paid off. Instead, I'm the one who gets stabbed in the back all the time.
Rawlings says he sees Ghana moving towards a new crisis.
It's becoming explosive as far as I can see. And one, it could be because they're ignorant of the mood of the people, for a whole lot of reasons, because they may have enough in their stomachs. And I'm making the mistake of equating their feelings to that man's. But that's where they're wrong, because that man is hungry.
This is the reason why J.J. Rawlings came back in 1981. After AFRC took power in 79, handed over to Liman, he went to sit back and he watched some of these people in power abuse that power. Kobne Japan Papa, what they did, these three judges, when you go back and read some of their cases, they sat on cases AFRC. A year 1979, Rawlings muye ku. Enkofo ye chi omo se yembu omo fo. Enkofo omo di boni ku nipa yesi omo fom kogu efiase na yembu omo ku fo. J.J. Rawlings ja power Maliman and as judges way they connived with a yes Sankofo and they released them back into the system. Did they tell you that? No. I will show you specific cases and dates. In fact, we are going to publish a year. The CIA also did an exclusive investigations into the killings of the judges. A 14-page declassified CIA investigations into a year the killings of the judges in Ghana. We will publish it on our site, on our page. We will take part and read for you to know what exactly happened. The people today making noise about the killings of the judges, they need to ask questions. But what they are doing is they are rather blaming people for questions they have refused to ask. Questions they are supposed to ask, they are not asking. They are deliberately blaming some people because they believe that when they push the crimes of their forefathers and their fathers on some people, it will make them look better. The MPP for any the killings of the judges in Wasam, they want to push the crimes of their fathers, their mothers, people who are in power, who are abusing power, the crimes they committed. They want to push it on J.J. Rawlings and his group because they don't want us to be asking or posing the right questions. This is where the problem is. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, the killings of these judges, as a Ghanaian, I will never condone it. I will always stand on my platform and condemn it, but I'll also ask questions. Why would anybody get up one day and go after some judges and a military man? Why would they do that? We need to be asking questions. The record of these judges, the cases they sat on, how the judgments were made. These are fundamental questions we need to ask before we move on to talk about these judges. To me, I believe these judges paid for a crime they committed that they hid from us. We need to go back into history and reassess, reinvestigate, look into the dealings of these judges. We will understand why their statues are where they are today. Not everybody sitting on TV, oh yeah, did they say you kumi papa, you kumi wafa. The question is, no mu ye. No mu kwa no mu ye judges. Omu ye bibia na nkedi so omu ye. We need to go down, ask the questions and demand for reasonable answers. Ghanaians, inkophobia dada ya che. Mama ma ye ho omu kwan. Tribe bi okrom ha, group bi okrom ha, political party bi okrom ha, nipe bi okrom ha. The crimes of these people, they want to force it on some people. They are refusing, or they are deliberately refusing to ask questions that will bring out the answers. I'll ask the Ghana Bar Association, the leadership, Joe Gate, his wife, and the corrupt leadership of the Ghana Bar Association. They should provide us with the cases of these three judges. Ghanaians will read for themselves. The history is there. We know what they did in our court. After AFRC left office, the people were supposed to be condemned. People were supposed to be kicked or moved out of the system for the system to be clean for us to move forward as a nation. How they were able to protect corruption. These judges shielded criminals. Did they pay for their crimes? Was what was done right? No. But we always need to understand, every crime we commit, the consequences are not the same. Some can be dire, some can be very light, some can be crazy. Maybe they face the most cruel one. We cannot sit in Ghana and always allow some people to force us to believe in the history they have created. We need to pose the right questions. Ask them to give us the necessary answers before we move on as a nation. We'll publish the CIA investigations on the killings of the judges. PZ for so medebeba abekan edwudwam amagana for ehunokure no. We are not going to allow some people to direct our history. We will all be part of it. We will read, we'll explain, we'll ask questions, and we will demand reasonable answers. My name is Kevin Ekobedu Taylor. It's exactly 8-7 p.m. U.S. East Coast. It's definitely 12-7 in Ghana. I will see you tomorrow. We will discuss Ghana. Be good. God bless you. God bless me. Cheers. Good night. Abuache. Gigim.
Yo! We are best fishermen. Solo Kodo. No answer mine. Abuache. It was for Belgium Pan. It was Betia Belgium Pan. It was two Belgium Pan. Why you why round what? Why you why round what? Why you why round what? Why you Supuno? Why round what? It was for Belgium Pan. It was Betia Belgium Pan. It was two Belgium Pan. It was Belgium Pan. Why you why round what? 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 Every papa no, what one is the motto? 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 Why round what? Why you why round what? I want it. Original. I will move for Belgium Pan. I want me to Belgium Pan. Where you mind? Don't crumble.